Crack Cannabis Clinics of America. You're talking Tampa Bay's #1 choice for compassionate care with business professionals. Discreetly begin your road to relief by dialing 813-358-CARD or visit www.mycannabiscard.com. That's 813-358-2273. And make sure to tell them that Al Keck sent you for $30 off new patient enrollment. Ask about military and senior discounts. Fast Track Cannabis Clinics of America. With uncertainty at an all-time high, securing what matters most has never been more important for your home or your office. Prevent disaster and make life easier. Try a security and home automation system from Alarm Engineers, Inc., Tampa's trusted leader for more than 30 years. State-of-the-art security systems, award-winning monitoring, and now full-spectrum smart home solutions. Alarm Engineers, Inc. has everything your home and office could possibly need and will work with any budget. Book a free security or smart home consultation today. Call 813-948-4000. That's 813-948-4000 and get your first month free by telling them Al Keck sent you. Alarm Engineers, Inc.
Tampa Bay Bucs Super Bowl 55 champ Shaq Barrett coming at you live at NSPN Next Gen Sports. Go like and follow NSPN for total coverage of all team and combat sports, live shows, plus exclusive player interviews and unprecedented sports content creation.
Aren't you loving life in Tampa Bay? Nothing like being defending Super Bowl champs, Stanley Cup champions, American League champions. This is Al Keck. Join me every Sunday morning at 10. Let's talk our teams in the hottest sports market in the country. Never too early to talk Buccaneers or check in on all the teams in Tampa Bay. It will be your best hour of sports. The Al Keck Show, powered by Guerrilla Marketing. Sunday mornings at 10 on 102.5 The Bone. Sports media has evolved. Introducing NSPN Next Gen Sports, your #1 source for all team and combat sports. Live shows, breaking news, esports tournaments, and interactive sports content like never before. Like and follow NSPN on our Facebook page for your chance at this month's fan giveaway contest. And tune in every Sunday at noon for exclusive video access to my Al Keck Show interview. NSPN Next Gen Sports. Al Keck here. I have to tell you about my amazing pampered experience at Daniela LaCorey Styling Studio. First of all, I love what she did with my hair, but it's the entire experience that truly sets her apart. You walk in and chances are she's playing your favorite music because she cares. She pours you your favorite adult beverage because she cares. It's gone from haircut to a truly relaxing time only at Daniela LaCorey Styling Studio. Haircuts, men and women, full spa treatments, hair color. Get it all with Daniela. Check her out on Instagram at Daniela LaCorey or book her on the Booksy app at ladybarberdaniela.booksy.com. Tell her how Keck sent you and get $10 off your first service, plus neck and shoulder massage. Daniela LaCorey Styling Studio. Al Keck here from my friends at Family Lawn, Pest, Handyman, and Housekeeping. I'm all about saving money and saving time, especially when it comes to maintaining my home. These people are 4-in-1. One provider for my lawn, Pest, Handyman, and Housekeeping. I don't have to call 4 different companies, receive 4 different estimates, have 4 different strangers come into my home and write 4 different checks. I simply call Roger and Paula at Family Lawn and Pest. Sign up for a year and leave the honeydews to them. Get a free estimate. Call 813-526-8111. That's 813-526-8111. Tell them Al Keck sent you and get $250 off your first year or 20% off your first month. It's Family Lawn and Pest and so much more. Medical marijuana made easy. See if you pre-qualify for your Florida medical marijuana card free of charge. 100% risk, obligation, and judgment-free with Fast Track Cannabis Clinics of America. You're talking Tampa Bay's #1.
What's up, everybody? Hope you guys had a great weekend. We certainly did. It was a great team win. Mike, 2 pick sixes. Defense played great. Got to keep the foot on the gas pedal. Headed out to California, going to play the Rams. Huge game for us next Sunday. We got this. Let's go. Got to get to 3-0. Here we go. Let's go.
All my brags turn to facts. All my hunters turn to racks. All my ladies turn to snacks. SUVs black on SUVs black on black.
There's a short list forming atop the NFC of teams that are ready to contend. Led by quarterbacks who don't flinch, defensive forces dictating terms, and coaches who create a competitive edge. These are the teams that check all the boxes. That could be the last one standing if they put it all together. But the divide between 2-0 and 3-0 is vast. It's the difference between a good start and the start of something special. 2 wins puts you in the conversation. 3 means that conversation starts with you, especially if you defeat the defending champions. You can't win the Super Bowl in September, but on America's Game of the Week, you can absolutely make a statement.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of your NSPN Watch Party live here at Ducky Sports Lounge. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the power man himself. Let me go ahead and give it to him right
there.
Yeah,
baby. Yeah.
Mr. Jason Powers, as we get you ready for, of course, Bucs versus the Rams. Both teams coming in at 2-0. How you doing today, buddy?
Big one here out in Los Angeles.
I'm telling
Mr.
you.
Brady's first ever game that he's ever started in L.A.
Isn't that crazy? Brady, throughout his whole career, has never played a game in L.A. ever.
I think he was injured probably the one time the Patriots were playing out there. And, obviously he's got a lot of family from Northern California. He's from the San Francisco area, so sounds like he's going to have a lot of people in the stands today watching him play. A lot of family and friends are going to make the trek from Northern California to see Tom at SoFi Stadium, 425.
Absolutely. So we got your pregame show ready to go. We'll hear from Tom Brady and his pressers this week. We'll break it all down for you. And then, of course, we'll take your comments. People go, is this a podcast? Not really. We call this evolving, if you will. The NSPN Watch Party live here at Ducky Sports Lounge, 1719 West Kennedy Boulevard in Tampa. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Jason Powers. And what it is, you can call in, you can text in. We take your comments. We want to interact. We want to hear from you. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Definitely not a podcast. We do a podcast called No Quarter Given, and we were talking about this all-time series, and of course, getting into it, the Rams coming into this game again 2-0, very excited about having Matt Stafford, almost kind of like what the Bucs did last year, getting a Tom Brady, kind of the same blueprint. They feel like he could be that missing piece. You look at his statistics, the last 2 games, 5 touchdowns, not many interceptions, and lots of excitement from this offense, and it starts with him, right?
Oh, no doubt about it. They made a decision in the offseason. They wanted to upgrade from Jared Goff. Goff had a good run for LA, but he wasn't great. Obviously, he took him to the Super Bowl a couple years back, but McVay really wanted the guy that it could take him to the next level from an offensive perspective, from a play calling perspective, arm talent, and Matt Stafford is definitely that guy, and they gave up a lot to get him.
And we always talk about the history when it comes to Bucs and Rams because they have this history. It goes back to 1979, Jason Powers. We were talking about it on the podcast, which you can find at buckpower.com. Paul Stewart does a hell of a job there being the Buccaneer historian. It went from 1979 to 1999. to
two NFC title matchups that the Bucs were on the short end of both of them.
Right. And this could be a preview.
Yes.
Stop me if you heard this before all this week. This could be a preview of the NFC Championship game this year. So, again, we'll take your comments. We'll take your phone calls. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Let's also get into it. Tom Brady right now coming off a big-time victory over the Atlanta Falcons, if there was any doubt, but there kind of was in that third quarter. Only 19 yards of total offense at that point. They let the Falcons get back to it.
No
28
doubt.
to 25.
Not doubt. It got a little closer on the scoreboard.
28 to 25.
I agree, but
right.
I don't think there was ever any fear that the Bucs were going to lose the game.
Correct. Well, I think there was to a certain degree, and if at the end of the day, it comes down to playing better football, and you would have to say here, Jason, the last two games, they haven't played penalty-free football. They haven't played their best offensive football. In fact, I tell you what, let's go ahead and hear from Mr. Tom Brady on what he thinks about the offensive consistency and, of course, the LA Rams and their defense, namely Mr. Aaron Donald here on the NSPN Watch Party pregame show, getting you ready here live at Ducky's. Here we go.
I think just consistency, attention to detail. I mean, I think we've worked hard at it, but we gotta keep communicating, and the only way to do it is communicate and go out and execute, and then learn from it, and then work hard to improve it. You have to figure out what the problems are in order to solve them, and I think we're learning things every day. I don't think we're ever a finished product, and football is a very challenging game in that there's so much coordination that needs to happen between a lot of people. So what may seem like a really simple thing, a throw from a quarterback to receiver, actually requires great blocking schemes and great design so that other people, are getting open. One ball to Mike could be because the linebacker took an underneath route, and that underneath route had to happen at a certain moment, and we had to pick up the protection. The back had to figure that out, and you had to sort through that with the communication with the line. So there's a lot that goes into it. And this week's really challenging because they have good players in the secondary and they have a good front. We lost to them last year. And, they're been one of the top-rated defenses in the league. They're one of the greatest defensive players of all time. So everything about this week is challenging. Really good defense, really good offense. We got a long ways to travel. It's a big game for both of us.
All right, there you go. Welcome back to your NSPN Watch Party here live at Ducky's. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the power man himself, Mr. Jason Powers. And Brady talks about it. Big-time challenge. They have confidence. They have a new quarterback there. And, of course, they have one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player right now in the NFL, and that would be Mr. Aaron Donald. Consequently, though, maybe I'm going to curse this, but the last two matchups, Aaron Donald has been very quiet.
Non-factor.
That Bucs offensive line has done a great job of keeping him quiet. They have to do the same today, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, last year, obviously, we saw the Rams. And so we weren't quite in the groove yet. Brady was still learning the offense. Sure. It was mid-season.
One of his worst games, to tell you the truth. It was on a prime time, 2 turnovers. So we remember it. Close game, but again, turnovers, penalties, that will be a story today. They got to eliminate that.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think they're going to be just fine. I think they're so much more in line offensively in the thought process and the scheme than they were a year ago when they played the Rams. I think it's going to be a night and day as far as the execution. Who knows who's going to win the game, but I think the execution from the Buccaneers side of things is going to be way better. And like you said, we've done a great job the last couple matchups neutralizing Aaron Donald. But remember, they got Jalen Ramsey, they got Leonard Floyd, they got other players.
Correct, and that will be the other matchup today to watch. Who is going to guard Mike Evans? Because as I said last week, Mike Evans week 5 catches, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. So you would think that if Jalen Ramsey is guarding Mike Evans, then the matchup you would look for would be Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown. Oops, Antonio Brown isn't in this game. Jaden Mickens is not in this game. And, of course, JPP not in this game. So guys like Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, even maybe a Jalen Darden, who's a rookie, will have to definitely come in and play today and contribute. And, of course, the other rookie, Mr. Tryon Shayenka.
Getting his chance
here. So, again, you never want to lose a JPP because he's a gamer, but you look at these players stepping in for it. Going back to the matchup, though, Ramsey versus Evans, is that how you see it? And then do you see Chris Godwin
I don't think
game
you're going to see Ramsey jump. The Rams are playing a lot of zone defense with Raheem Morris. I don't think you're going to see Ramsey follow Mike Evans. I think you're going to see different matchups. You're going to see Ramsey on Godwin, yet Ramsey on Evans.
Sure.
You might even see Ramsey on Gronkowski in the red zone.
Sure.
I think that'll be a matchup you'll see. My question for the Buccaneers today is, are you going to see, with no Antonio Brown, are you going to see more two tight ends? Maybe more Cameron Brate and Gronk together today?
Or even O.J. Howard. Right, a signing last week.
Or are they going to go with the 3 wide receivers with a Scotty Miller or a Tyler Johnson filling in that number 3 spot?
Now you look at Brady here, 2 straight FedEx Player of the Weeks, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Jason, he's playing at an MVP type of level right now at 44 years old. So if you're going to LA facing a tough defense, once again, this is the guy you want at the controls.
And a big factor of that is the offensive line play. They've done very well in pass protection. Again, Brady's the best at getting rid of the ball, even when pass protection does break down. He'll throw the ball away. He won't throw that ball into coverage. He'll take his medicine and play the next down, as opposed to, obviously, we've seen Jameis Winston over the years who wouldn't do that. It would force the ball, i.e. turnovers.
Correct.
Today, if you got, again, we did a better job in week 2, run the ball, establish a running game. The Rams have been a little vulnerable in the run game this year, and that neutralizes the Aaron Donalds, the Leonard Floyds from teeing off.
Any concern about this offensive line, because they give up 3 sacks last week to the Atlanta Falcons? Not a great defense, but once again, you got a matchup nightmare with Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, and of course Ramsey in that secondary. And another guy here that's really come to play, and that would be Justin Hollis, who has had a couple of sacks in these last couple of games. So,
this is a legit defense. I mean, we're not just going to motor up and down the field at will like we were moving the ball against Atlanta last week. They're going to have to scheme well. They're going to have to block them. And again, the Rams have good DBs. So our guys aren't going to be just running wide open like we've seen in the first couple of weeks.
Right.
Because of the pass defenses of Atlanta and Dallas.
Yeah, so again, let's hear from you. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Live here at Ducky's on NSPN, your NSPN watch party. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Jason Powers.
All the NFL action going on right now. The Saints are about to run an interception back on Mac Jones.
Wow.
Inside the 10-yard line, and they've scored. It looks like they've scored there on a return.
You got a Bengals contingent here, 7-0 over
all
the
Steelers. Fan bases are represented here at Ducky's. Bears, Browns, Steelers, Buffalo, Washington.
I tell you what, let's go around the league a little bit. Last check here, Chicago and Cleveland tied at 3. Of course, that's the start of the Justin Fields era, as somebody told you. But, of course, Andy Dalton out with a knee injury. Bills up 21-0.
21-14.
21-14. Washington football team has scored. Wow. That was 21-0, ladies and gentlemen, and now it's 21-14. Saints now 7-0. Of course, big tilt with the New England Patriots. Of
Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger just hit the tight end.
So there you go.
7-7. The big story of the day early, Kansas City being shut out at home by the Chargers, 14-0, coming up on the 2-minute warning.
Wow, there you go.
In Arrowhead.
14-0. The LA Chargers, I can't say to San Diego. The LA Chargers up 14-0. Kansas City's defense not good at all. Well, just a god-awful nightmare.
I mean, their offense is not playing well either today.
But their defense can't stop anybody. And when their offense is not going, then it's early, though. It's early yet. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you abreast of this situation and, of course, take your comments. Let's go out to some of these comments here. But I tell you what, we'll go out to these comments really quick, and then we'll get on our special guest, Mr. Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News here. Let's go out to Corey Brown. Bucs wearing Color Rush uniforms. Congratulations, Rays win the AL East. Yes, they do. There was another story, but we'll get to that a little bit later. With that being said, let's go ahead and get this guy on right here, Mr. Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News, meteorologist. Welcome to the NSPN Watch Party. How you doing, my friend? And you got your Rays hat on. Let's start right there, even though we're getting you ready for Bucs versus the Rams. Your thoughts on the Tampa Bay Rays clinching the AL East? Welcome.
I mean, you guys know I'm a big Rays guy from day one. I'm sitting here holding my phone out while I have Red Zone behind me over here on the checking out all the other scores. But yeah, I mean, that team continues to amaze me. When they lost Glass now and they traded Morton, or they didn't trade him, I guess it was more of a free agency. And Blake Snell traded him. You figure, how are they going to do it without really any pitching? And they just have a bunch of guys who a lot of people would call no-name players, and they just have turned into just a great team. And I mean, I wonder how they're going to be able to be in the playoffs without a pitching staff that appears to be dominant. But I've been wondering that all season, and they continue to surprise. So it's been amazing. It really has been.
Dennis, the I think an X factor here, a guy that nobody knows about a whole lot, made his major league debut this week. Shane Baz could be a factor come playoff time in the starting rotation.
That had to be the worst trade in the history of Major League Baseball. The Rays give up Chris Archer. They get Baz, Glasnow, and Austin Meadows. And then they get Chris Archer back after Pittsburgh paid most of their salary. And he's been hurt, and he's pretty much done now with his injuries. By the way, who just scored there? Looks like Lamar, although there's a flag. But yeah, I mean, just craziness that trade came down the way it did. And you're right. There's so many no-name players. Even their starters. Wendell. Most people don't know about. I mean, the only folks that a lot of non-baseball fans probably know are Kevin Kiermaier. And outside of that, there's just not, and Randy Arozarena just because he did so great last year. But it's going to be fun. I mean, I wonder how they're going to be able to really,
The starting pitching is going to be the key.
Yeah, it is.
If they can get to the sixth inning and get to that bullpen, I think we got a legit chance to go to the World Series.
We'll see. Of course, the other story that kind of took away from it, the ownership announcement yesterday that they were going to have a Tampa Bay, St. Pete, Montreal. I guess what is it? A banner or sign out there in right field. I mean, it just kind of defeats it. It's counterproductive. Your thoughts on that, and then we'll get to this Bucs Rams tilt.
Yeah, I mean, that's Stu. Stu, the owner of the Rays, will not give it up. He just won't. He has it in his mind that this, regardless of if because it's financial reasons or because it's his idea and everybody else. You wanted it to go because it was his idea. But, I mean, if they're going to end up going to Montreal or splitting with Montreal, so be it. There's not a lot that anybody can do about it. I don't even think it's about the stadium as much anymore. I think it's about Stu wanting to be Stu and just flat out not giving up on this idea because it's so new and he wants to be known for that. But come on. I mean, it's not a Montreal team yet. It's not a split team yet. If it happens, so be it. But now is the worst time to create even more division from the fan base. Because that's all you're going to do. I mean, you're not. It's not going to bring a kumbaya moment to everybody. It's going to be, oh look, here's another reason why we hate the owner.
Dennis, I think he's putting pressure on the city of St. Petersburg and the city of Tampa to try to say, you know what, I'm for real about moving this team. If you guys want to keep the Rays here, you guys better figure it out and figure out a way to get a stadium deal done. I think he's using the leverage and the playoff time exposure of it being on national TV every game come playoff time to really put the heat on the city councils of Tampa and St. Pete.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, Stu is a smart businessman. I mean, right. no one's gonna give him that. I mean, that he doesn't know what he's doing. I think, a lot of people used to complain that he lived in New York. He didn't live locally. He didn't care about this area. And, and then you've got him competing against Jeff Vinnick, who everybody and their brother loves because of what he's done with the Lightning and what he's doing with the city of Tampa in terms of redeveloping and rebuilding that city. So, I don't know. From a business standpoint, he clearly knows what he's doing, but he's not making any friends along the way. But at the end of the day, you're right. If he gets that stadium that he wants, but is that stadium really in St. Pete? How many times have we said, no matter if it's a state-of-the-art facility or not, you're still going to have local people complaining about that drive?
I don't think he cares where it's at. He just wants it somewhere in Tampa or St. Pete. Well, I don't think he cares which city it's in, to be honest with you.
But the split city plan, basically, you're going to have 2 stadiums and open air
They're
one
not
down here.
There's never going to be a split schedule, home schedule. That ain't happening.
My point is you're taking away from this team that won the AL East, and then you're making comments of saying, you know what, we're trying to focus on winning. If you're focused on winning, don't pull this kind of stunt. You're absolutely right. They're trying to use the media, but it takes away from the fan experience. Speaking of fan experience, today the fans are about to experience Tampa Bay versus the LA Rams. Both teams coming in at 2-0. How do you see this, Mr. Dennis Phillips?
It's a tough game. We've been talking. I mean, I think we talked about 2 or 3 months ago when the schedule came out in May, I think it was, and we circled games that are going to be the big games, the telling games. And I think this is one of them. I mean, I think some people are predicting this is going to be the NFC Championship matchup. I think at the end of the day, having, I guess apparently Darrell Henderson is a game time decision, although a lot of folks are saying Sony Michel is going to be the starter for the Rams, but you're not going to run on that team anyway. The Bucs are so difficult to run. You got to figure if the Rams are going to, if this is a moment for the Rams, in my opinion, that they're going to be able to validate getting Matthew Stafford. Cooper Kupp has been ridiculous. Bobby Trees, Robert Woods has been pretty quiet this year. And and so is tight end. So
it's a tough matchup for the Bucs defense. It's a tough matchup.
It is, especially with their secondary being as banged up as it is. But yet at the end of the day, for some reason, I just have a feeling this team is going to find a way through because and a lot of it has to do with the Vegas number, believe it or not, because the money's coming in on the Rams
big time.
And I just think anytime the public goes one way, I go the other way. So I think for a number of reasons, earlier I liked the Rams, but I'm really starting to lean more toward the Bucs now. And probably a really nice 28-24, 31-27 kind of game.
Go ahead, Jason.
I was saying lots of people are predicting that the Bucs get through this week. There's a legitimate possibility of a potential undefeated season. This is probably their roughest road game. So a lot of that speculation is going to start heating up if they were able to get through this game.
And we're on with
all I see left on the road, maybe the Eagles. On the road. But I think this is their toughest regular season game they're going to have, and Buffalo, of course.
We're on with Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News here live on the NSPN
Instant update.
Yes.
Touchdown Cincinnati.
I saw that. I heard that from
Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase late in the first half, 14-7 over Pittsburgh.
We got a Cincinnati Bengal contingent here that is very excited. We're going to have to get them on camera. We're on once again with Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. With that being said, from the fantasy perspective, because we usually do a Friday night fantasy hour here, we'll get back to that next week. Tom Brady coming into this game playing like an MVP, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You feel confident in starting him? Is he always a start, especially versus this tough Rams defense?
Peter, are you saying Tom Brady's not a start?
No. I'm asking Dennis
every
Phillips
week
here.
Start, bro? Are you really asking Dennis for that?
I am. I'm asking.
Now, I will tell you, there's better values out there if you're playing DFS. You're 100% right. If it's a seasonal league, you start Tom Brady. It's a no-brainer. There's a lot of quarterbacks that you start no-brainer, even if they've started slow, like Josh Allen. By the way, Peter, how about our boy Antonio Gibson breaking off an 88-yard touchdown run about 15, 20 minutes ago? So, Brady's obviously, as long as he's upright, as long as he has 2 of the receivers, and let's not forget about Scotty Miller, because even though Antonio Brown's out, Miller did okay last year at times. So I think he's a plug and play 25, 30 points from a fantasy perspective each and every week. There's no reason, especially without a running game. Right. Fournette has a tendency to step up his game in situations like this, but I still think it's going to be Tom Brady will still easily have a 25 to 30 point game.
And speaking of former Buck quarterbacks, our boy Jameis Winston just threw a touchdown pass.
So
it's 14-0 Saints in New England.
14. Yeah, how crazy is that? 2 weeks ago, he's unbeatable. Then last week, he looked like dirt. And now he looks great again. So that's clearly going to be a team that's going to be impossible to predict how they're going to go week to week.
And New England looks bad on offense. Their offense, they are not very good on offense.
Which is shocking because you're missing Marshawn Lattimore. You have all these injuries with the Saints. You can't really figure out the NFL. The other surprise of the day, which Jason Powers mentioned here, we're live from Ducky Sports Lounge, is the Chargers beating the Chiefs here.
14-3.
I know it's early, but is there concern here with the Chiefs and their defense? Not very good. If you have the Chiefs on defense with fantasy football, you're not too happy right now.
Yeah, but you know what? The Chiefs, the Chiefs, they're not going to win games because of their defense. They're going to win games because of their offense. And they have 3 points. They just kicked a field goal. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I tell you what, there's some issues there. He dropped the ball. He fumbled the ball again today. He threw it. There was a pick thrown earlier on a deflection. But at the end of the day, their defense is not what wins their game. It's their offense. And they're a little flat. I saw that they showed a sideline shot. You guys probably saw it of Mahomes, getting everybody on the sideline and really kind of reading them the riot act a little bit. So, that's what a good leader does. But at the end of the day, let's be honest. Does anybody really think that they're not going to be there in the playoffs? I don't.
And we just saw a historical thing just happen right behind us. Arizona just attempted a long field goal at the end of the half. Jacksonville just ran the missed field goal back 109 yards for a touchdown on the last play of the first half.
So Jacksonville finally
Up
gets
14,
on the board.
up 14-7.
Wow, because Trevor Lawrence threw an interception early. Let's get back to Tampa Bay here in the Rams fantasy perspective. Mike Evans last week, 5 catches, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns, but a tougher matchup this week, Dennis Phillips against Jalen Ramsey. So are you taking Godwin in this matchup? No Antonio Brown. So if you're not taking Godwin, are you taking Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, or Jalen Darden? First and foremost, Evans and Godwin. Who are you taking?
Well, I mean, you're right. You hit the nail on the head with Ramsey. I mean, I think just like last week when Evans didn't have the ball in week 1, they seemed to really try to get it to him in week 2. You got to figure they're going to go, especially with no AB out there. I do think Miller's going to be part of the mix, but I think in terms of receptions, just in terms of the quality of the quantity of receptions, I think Godwin's going to be the guy. I mean, Brady is smart enough, and even though people say, Evans was whining about not getting the ball first week, which he didn't, but that's what a lot of people were saying that he was. At the end of the day, he knows that he has a lot of mouths to feed, and he wants to keep them all happy, and he knows that they're all capable of doing it. But Scotty Miller is that guy last year. Remember, there were a couple of times last year that he really came through.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're exactly right, especially before the half. We're on with ABC.
Green Bay.
Yes, ABC Action News is Mr. Dennis Phillips, one of the hardest working people out there, meteorologist and now sports broadcaster, live here on NSPN and, of course, the Sports Web.
Real quick, Dennis, who do you like against the number today?
I like the Bucs. Like I said, I liked the Rams earlier on, but I am contrarian all the way. And that's just the way I play. So if everybody's on one side, when someone else zigs, I zag, and I think because the world's on the Rams, I like the Bucs. And it's
any other games that you like with the number? I like the Seahawks at Minnesota.
I like that's a tough one.
No doubt. Cook.
You're right. I kind of think that might be a shootout. Is kind of the way I'm thinking.
Yep.
I think there's going to be a lot of balls thrown in that game, and I'm kind of leaning toward the over in that game.
Well, I tell you right now, Minnesota definitely needs a win because they don't have a win, and they could easily be 2-0 if it wasn't for, whatever else, some final plays and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, Minnesota needs a win. Seattle's going on the road. I'm taking Minnesota in that game, even though you don't have Dalvin Cook. You have a must-win because, Dennis, if you go 0-3, basically it's curtains for your playoff chances, right?
Their defense is not very good in Minnesota these days.
They need a win. So fantasy perspective, again, have confidence in this Buccaneer defense to shut down this high-powered offense, or once again, do you think it's going to be a shootout like you said coming in? Can they get some turnovers? Can they get an interception or a fumble off of a Matt Stafford?
Yeah, you're not going to ever be able to handicap turnovers. It's just one of the parts of the game that it's pretty much impossible to handicap. You're not going to run on that Bucs team. So in spite of the fact that I'm kind of a Sony Michel guy this year from a fantasy perspective, now that Henderson's out, I think it's going to be a shootout. I don't think you're going to stop Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, and Stafford is a really, really good quarterback. I think, like I said, 31-27, something like that. It's the number that's kind of hanging in there with me.
All right, there you go. Christian McCaffrey gets hurt the other night. Kind of worried about him. How many weeks you see? I mean, hamstring, that's a lingering thing. So now
a month, at least a month.
That's kind of a blow to my fantasy team. Do you know anybody that has Christian McCaffrey? You feel sorry for him?
I didn't draft him because I was afraid of the injury prone thing. But I will tell you, I've been listening to some podcasts and some people who I know pretty well, doctors, sports medicine doctors who, in fact, one of them used to play in the NFL and has a Super Bowl ring when they were the Redskins, but now he's a orthopedic surgeon, Harvard grad. I listened to his podcast. He said he was looking at he didn't have the exam or anything, but looking at the video, looking at where it was more the meatier part of the hamstring. He did not think he was going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. He thought he'd be out 2 to 3 weeks based on what he was looking at. So that's what he said. And so we'll see, but hamstrings are just, God, those are those things that linger, and they could literally could ruin him. I mean, not out for the season, but make it where it's just one of those nagging injuries for the entire season, kind of like a high ankle sprain,
And with his injury history, I think the Carolina off to a good start, 3-0. You can afford to sit him an extra week to make sure he's fully healthy. Because again, he's got a history of injury. You don't want to bring him back because they're not 0-3. It's not like they can afford a loss or 2 and still be in the mix. by sitting him an extra week.
Absolutely. What's your score that you're mostly surprised by today, Dennis? And then we'll get you out of here on that.
I'm kind of surprised that the Lions are hanging in there with the Ravens.
Wow.
I'm looking at it right here. I mean, the Ravens have been on the Lions side of the field all game. I actually played TJ Hawkinson in DFS, and he's done absolutely nothing. And I kind of expected he would have a pretty good game. Baltimore's secondaries is banged up. I think 5 of their starters were out. So that one kind of surprises me. But obviously, the biggest surprise is the Chargers over the Chiefs.
All right, there you go, Dennis. So let's go ahead and give us a forecast for the week here. Coming into October, my friend.
We got a cold front coming. Can we get some cooler weather, please?
We got a little drier, a little lower humidity earlier this week. It's still going to be hot, though, right around 90. Matter of fact, I'm going to the pool in about 2 minutes. I got my phone. I can still watch Red Zone on my phone, so life will be good. But yeah, it's. I think we got a good week coming ahead. Low 90s, upper 80s, not a lot of rain, if any.
All right, there you go. Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. Thanks a lot for your time here live on the NSPN pregame show from Ducky's. All right?
You guys have fun.
All right. Dennis. Sounds good. There you go. Mr. Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News giving us the forecast here. You're grabbing me and saying Jameis Winston threw a touchdown.
We got tons of action here in the last 2 minutes of these games.
I need to get some of those Bengal fans to come over here. That's what I need.
We got plenty of time to do that.
We need to do that because they're pretty excited right now as they're beating the.
This is actually the official Tampa spot for the Bengals.
So I didn't know that until I was setting up.
And they're here every week, win or lose. They got a good little contingency that comes, but Ducky's is the Cincinnati Bengals home.
I feel like we've got to kind of corrupt them into being Bucs fans, but I don't know if that's possible.
No, you got to let their fans be their fans of their team. No matter, you got to be the fan of your team, even though you live in Tampa. If you're a Bengals fan, that's the way it is, man. You have to be the fan for your team.
All right, so let's go on to the comments here. Love Dennis Phillips live weather for 4 or 5 since 2016. Corey again. Bucs 41-38 shootout over the Rams. Troy Polamalu. Peter is about to join. Peter Report. No show on Monday and Friday. I thought you got fired from NSPN. No, I had some family stuff come up. Had some important stuff to come up that I had to take care of. Plus, I had to recharge the battery. So I promise you, try not to miss too many days. I'm a very busy person. So Troy Polamalu, King Troy, Trojan Legend SC. For that, this is what you get. That's what you get.
Speaking of the Trojans,
yes,
they're a dumpster fire. They got killed again this guy's a USC fan?
Well, yes, he is.
They're a dumpster fire. They got trashed again last night by Oregon State. Ugh, they're in full disarray.
You mean firing your coach the game after?
No, they won. They won last week with the first game with the new coach.
Oh,
but then got smashed again at home last night.
So the honeymoon is over with.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Urban Meyer rumors will continue.
Well, we'll see. Jacksonville's doing something today, aren't they?
That's right. They're up 14-7 at the half.
So we'll see if they can beat Arizona. That would probably be the upset of the day.
That would be Nobody saw that.
Speaking of upset, I have to be very upset because the running game. I'll tell you what, though. We'll get back to the running game because you know who I want to talk about. Let's go out to Ed from Palm Harbor. Ed, welcome to the NSPN pregame show live from Ducky's. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Jason Powers. What do you have to say, my friend?
First of all, what does NSPN stand for?
Next Gen Sports Media, where media evolves.
Oh, great. Awesome.
You like that?
Yeah.
I didn't come up with it, but yeah, people seem to like it. So there you go. NSPN. Go ahead, buddy.
So, this game is going to be a tough game.
Okay.
The defense is banged up in the secondary against a team that loves to throw the football. If they don't get a pass rush on Stafford and knock him around a little bit, he's going to carve them up. Then we're without Antonio Brown. Now everybody's like, well, that's okay. He's next man up. Well,
right.
Brady has a really good rapport with Antonio Brown.
Correct.
So, I mean, he doesn't even have to know where Antonio Brown is on the field and he'll find him. That's how good he is.
Right.
So, this is going to be a tough game, and I think it's going to be it's going to be whoever gets the ball last, probably.
Well, it comes down to, and it goes back to last year's matchup, Jason, is the Rams are not going to try to come out and run the ball because they know they can't run the ball versus this Bucs defense. So they're going to find creative ways, mostly screens, stuff like that, little short passes,
jet sweeps, stuff like that.
Right.
They like to hand, and these guys like to hand the ball off to their wide receivers. Kupp, and Woods, they run that jet sweep to those
Smoke
guys.
screen, stuff like that.
Which is their version of a running game.
Right. And at the end of the day,
That can hurt the Bucs defense. That can't hurt.
well, I mean, it can hurt them if you miss tackles. And we've
Right.
seen that with this defense. This defense hasn't necessarily played their best game. We talked about the offense and their inconsistencies from Brady, but the defense hasn't necessarily played their best, although Mike Edwards last week having those 2 pick sixes definitely helped you out. So you're going to have to get some turnovers. And I absolutely agree with you on this, Ed, that there is some concern with the secondary and their injuries, namely in SMB. You're going to have to, depend on not only a Carlton Davis, who had a great game last week.
Yep.
He's going to have to shut down a player like a Cooper Kupp, and then everybody else, a Jamel Dean, and of course a Mike Edwards, and possibly a Ross Cockrell will have to do their best to shut down a Robert Woods and
Higbee, the
as
tight
end. So
we're not going to folks. We're not going to shut this team down today.
No.
This team's the Rams are going to get to 20 plus points.
But his point is, without JPP, you have to get pressure,
Sure.
and you're going to have to generate that without a JPP, which is going to be a tough test. So there is concern with some fans here, especially at.
And the key to me is today, we talked about this week 1, red zone defense. Both teams are going to move the ball between the 20s.
Correct.
Which teams score touchdowns and which team has to kick field goals is going to be a huge factor.
Consequently, Jason, the Bucs defense is very good when a team gets into the red zone. They hold them to field goals and shut them down.
Right.
So that's what you have to focus on today. But you're exactly right, Matt Stafford, that offense very explosive, especially a Cooper Kupp.
And remember,
who killed him last year.
True. And remember who's kicking for the Rams these days, former Buck Matt Gay,
who won the game last year. Go ahead, Ed. I'm sorry.
When you use misdirection against the Bucs D, it does work because the Bucs D is a very aggressive defense, especially up front.
Right.
So a lot of teams are starting to pick that up now. And like you saw in the first game, they used misdirection. They did screens. They did, all kinds of stuff to take advantage of the aggressive front seven. So yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. I'm really surprised they didn't make a bigger move than they did for somebody to put in that secondary.
Well, we'll see.
Bringing guys up from the
Ed, we will see, because they did make a move yesterday to free up about $4 million with Ali Marpet. So there is talk, and there has been talk the last couple weeks, that the Bucs are interested in Richard Sherman.
Yes.
The problem is, guys, is that he has those issues off the field. And I think that Jason Line and BA are kind of trying to gauge what the NFL is going to do.
They're going to wait it out.
Right.
They're going to wait it out.
And people say, well, why not sign him now? You signed Antonio Brown. Well, Antonio Brown was suspended. You know how long it was going to be. You don't know that right now. That's the unknown factor for Sherman.
I would not be shocked if they don't have a wink agreement, Sherman and the Bucs, that whenever his legal situation gets resolved, he'll be at one Buck place the following Monday, because
I think you're right.
Sherman's not going to go play for a losing team. He wants to be a part of a championship team this late in his career. We have a need at cornerback.
Sure.
With Murphy Bunning and depth issues, Jamel Dean, he's going to be a Buccaneer before it's over.
All right, so there you go. Ed, what else?
I think it's time to talk about Florida State getting another coach.
Well, I tell you right now, I don't know what to say. I mean, you change head coaches every other year. You wonder why there's not consistency there. You wonder why this team doesn't know, recruiting, this and that and the other thing. You're recruiting other players for different systems. I mean, that's the reason why it's a dumpster fire with the Florida State.
Norvell's going to it's going to be a dumpster fire this year as far as the record.
He'll probably get another year.
He's going to get another year because they're still paying Willie Taggart from the end of his contract.
Right.
So they're not going to then turn around and fire Norvell and have to pay him another 3 years.
Hold on, Ed. Hold on. What now? Go ahead, Ed.
This is so undisciplined, man.
It is.
They just every play they shoot themselves in the foot.
It's like watching old Buccaneer football. Self-destruct Bucs, shoot yourself in the foot.
They're just not good enough athletically yet.
No.
Norvell's improving the recruiting, but they're not there yet. It's going to take another year of recruiting. And again, until you get a big-time trigger man at the quarterback position, they're going to struggle.
Well, I tell you right now, the guy that everybody is kind of focusing on, that even Booger McFarland of ESPN mentioned, would be Deion Sanders. I mean, that would be the eventual candidate, you would think, whatever he does, because He's a part of the program, big time name, can recruit.
That's the one thing he would be able to do is recruit.
Can he coach?
Can he coach X's and O's?
Right, and can they?
You're thinking that they're going to bring in Deion Sanders as a head
That is
coach?
what has
talk.
been talked about. That is what has been talked
That
about.
would be awesome. And
You like that?
He's a motivator.
Okay.
He's a big motivational speaker. When you listen to the man, I think he would be an awesome coach for kids, definitely.
He's done a good job at Jackson State where he's at now. He's recruited some good players.
Different though. It's different.
Oh, it's different level for sure.
Different level.
It's a different level
But
for
we'll
sure.
see. I mean, I think that's a couple years away, unfortunately.
Yes.
I think the FSU fans are going to have to endure more. Just enjoy the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this pregame show along with all the shows here on
Man, I
NSPN.
feel old. I remember when Emmitt Smith played for Florida State and Deion Sanders. God,
Emmett was a Gator, not a
What
Seminole.
Florida State for
Emmett
it?
was a Gator.
Hold on a second.
Come on, Ed.
Come on, Ed. All right, give me a score prediction right now. Bucs versus the Rams, my friend.
I want to say 34-31 Bucs.
34-31 Bucs. All right, got you down, Ed. We'll see you on the post-game edition here live on NSPN. All right?
Okay.
All right, good stuff there. Getting his names a little bit mixed up there. So let's
It might be on the sauce a little early here today.
Rams are winning this game. Bucs secondary is suspect. Tampa Bay plus Richard Sherman coming real soon. That's what Troy Polamalu says. And even Arians knows bunting stinks. I don't think he knows that at all. In fact, I think you're just making that up. That's what I think. But again, of course, that is going to be the focus at this point. The focus has kind of been taken off of Antonio Brown, and Tom Brady talked about this and the impact of COVID on this team. So we'll go out to Tom Brady here live at on NSPN, live at Ducky's. Here we go.
And I have to step up if he's not available. And I think everyone kind of knew this situation with somebody was going to happen. I'm sure it's not going to be the last one. So just have to deal with it as best we can. Different players around the league have tested positive. So, it's just the way things are now. The stadium's full and families traveling, and we're definitely at more risk this year. So I don't know what we can do about it, but in our situation, we'll just deal with it, try to get some other guys prepared, and then if you can't go, you can't go.
There you go. So welcome back here live on NSPN, your pregame edition, getting you ready for Bucs versus the Rams. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming in at 2-0 versus the LA Rams at 2-0, and their new quarterback, Matt Stafford. Of course, Brady talking about missing an Antonio Brown. What's going to be the impact? Who's going to have to step up? Scotty Miller's going to have to step up. He's done it before. Can he do it again? Can a Tyler Johnson, if he gets the opportunity to step up? What about a Jalen Darden? Because not only is Antonio Brown missing this game, but also Jaden Mickens is missing this game on special teams. And we know how well Mickens has played on special teams for them. So it's going to be interesting today. Bucs coming into this game not 100%. You're missing Antonio Brown. You got to have Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, Jalen Darden step in. Going to be some contribution today, Bucs fans. Get on the phone line. Tell me what you think. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, the secondary, a lot of Bucs fans looking at this matchup as they should, because Cooper Kupp has been one of the top wide receivers in fantasy football and all of football, and it seems like, Jason Powers, that he has become the number one target for Mr. Matt Stafford, right? Cooper Kupp.
Absolutely. Oh, there's no doubt.
9 receptions, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last year's matchup with Jared Goff, 11 catches, 145 yards.
Right.
So
no, he's the number one option there. I mean, Woods is a very serviceable number 2 option, but Kupp is definitely the main man when it comes to third downs and red zone stuff that they're targeting from the wide receiver position.
So again, a challenge for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary with, of course, Carlton Davis playing well last week, as we talked about. And the other side, Jamel Dean, his inconsistencies. We talked with former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, New England Patriot, and Fox 13 sports analyst Ricky Reynolds about this, how Dean is inconsistent and will look in the backfield for big plays. He just has to play his game, have practice proper technique, if you will. And then the other guys, like a Mike Edwards last week, what were your thoughts on his play last week with the 2 pick sixes?
Remember, he and Jordan Whitehead are splitting duties at that save. The one guy that's been quiet through 2 games that we really haven't talked much about, that I want to see be an impact player, Antoine Winfield Jr.
Right.
Haven't really heard of his name
and
a
then
whole
you
lot.
get Jordan Whitehead back last week. So now you got your safety.
I want to see the
there.
ball hawk. I want to see the ball hawk of
Correct.
Antoine Winfield show himself with a guy like Matt Stafford, who likes to. He's not afraid to force the ball into a tight window.
Mm-hmm.
This could be a situation today where he tries to jam one in there into coverage that a guy like Winfield, a guy like, again, Carlton Davis, could be Johnny on the spot.
All right, so George Johnny on the spot here. Getting you ready for Bucs versus the Rams, live at Ducky Sports Lounge, 1719 West Kennedy Boulevard in Tampa. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Jason Powers, live here on
Packed
NSPN.
house here at Ducky's.
Yes, I'm telling you.
It's jammed, and it's going to get busier as we get closer to Buccaneers kickoff. So if you're looking for a place to go, come down to Ducky's. We're here. We're going to be doing halftime and post game.
You can get on the
jump
mic
on with us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll kick you out of here.
Yeah,
We'll
I'll take a break, and we got big Bengals contingency. They're driving to make it 21-7 on the Steelers.
Wow.
We got an upset in Jacksonville brewing a little bit in Jacksonville. We got the Chargers winning in Arrowhead. So
Don't
we got
say
some
San
upset.
Diego. You almost said it. LA. It's all
I know.
right.
We got an upset.
It's
We got
right.
the Saints are beating the Patriots in Foxborough. I just saw James White get carted off on the cart.
Whoa.
So that's not good for the Patriots.
Major injury for the Patriots, and that happens. And it looks like New Orleans once again with looks like another
touchdown New
Malcolm
Orleans
Jenkins to the house there.
defense on a tip ball.
It's getting ugly. The kid
21-3.
The kid is getting a welcome to the NFL moment in this game. Mac Jones has, and I'll tell you right now, if you're having problems with the Saints, what kind of problems are you going to have on Sunday Night Football versus this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team?
That wasn't Mac Jones' fault. That was a tip ball by Jonnu Smith. Should have caught the ball, and it went ricocheted right into Malcolm Jenkins, who took it about 35 yards for a touchdown.
Johnny on the spot. Speaking of not being on the spot or being off the spot, that would be Mr. Ronald Jones, the victim of volume.
That's your boy.
I don't know where you go with this, but Bruce Arians had some comments.
I'll tell you
this
where
week.
you go.
Well, let me just read what BA said.
Yeah,
it speaks for itself. Rowe, that's his guy. Of course, he's talking about the pass protection miss, which, look, again, I've been a fan and been a guy that said, you know what, you got to give this guy more volume because when he can get out in space, he can make things happen. And I still believe in some cases he is the best running back on this team. But the last 2 games, he has not played like it. And when you're missing pass protection,
blitz pickups, you're not going to play.
No, you're not going to play. And he said, BA says he's got to get on those type of situations. I thought he ran hard, protected the ball. But again, you can't have those mental errors. This is his 3rd year, man.
4th year.
Well, he said 3rd year.
With him.
Right.
4th year in the league.
Well, I don't count the 1st year because there was no coaching with Dirk Cutter.
But he's in the league.
Yeah, but he didn't get a lot of time. I think he had like 75 yards.
Yeah,
total.
because there were questions about whether he could pick up the playbook.
Because they didn't teach him or coach him on the playbook.
You really think that?
Yes, I
do. They just said, good luck, Ronald?
I don't think they did a good enough job to get him right.
Right.
But it shouldn't be a problem at all. It's just attention to detail.
Yes.
Like missing the blitz. He's a great runner. He's caught the ball well. I would have liked to have seen him run for the first down. His mind is fine. It's just his play isn't as good as it should be. Right there, that kind of tells you. And Leonard Fournette's going to start the game, and as he should, because he's outplayed Ronald Jones.
And remember, Leonard Fournette was the number 4 pick in the draft. It's not like Leonard Fournette's a 7th round draft pick.
But he's had his own problems with catching the ball consistently and picking up pass protection.
He's done a pretty good job in Tampa picking up the pass on the blitz.
Better than Ronald Jones at this point.
Yes.
I agree with you on that. So what do you think about this running situation last week? Bucs did a better job of it. 11 carries for 52 yards for Leonard Fournette.
Again, do I think Bruce Arians is trying to send a message to Ronald Jones through the media?
Maybe.
I think he still likes him. I think they're still going to play. but he's not afraid to sit the guy down or give Fournette 2/3 of the carries.
Correct.
If he's earned it.
Correct. I agree.
And I think this is going to be a fluid situation throughout the year. I don't think Fournette's going to ever be the absolute guy, and I don't think Joe. They're going to utilize both guys because both are good players.
I'll tell you what, let's go out to Tom Brady and his thoughts on the defensive challenges facing him with this Rams team live here at Ducky's on NSPN. Here we go.
They do a good job, in both facets. I think they're very good against the run, and they're one of the top-ranked teams against the pass. Last year they were. It's just a challenging team because I think they do a good job disguising coverages, but they've got a great pass rush. So you can't really pick up on anything pre-snap because they're holding all their disguises, and at the same time they have a pass rush that gets home really quick. So the corners do a good job of locking on the receivers, and I think they do a good job, all having their eyes on the quarterback and reacting to where the quarterback's looking. So there's not a lot of chances to go to second reads and so forth, because if you look one way, the chances are the ball's got to come out just because of how fast that pass rush gets home.
Very telling by Brady. So again, the challenge is, and welcome back to NSPN's pregame show live here at Ducky's. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Jason Powers. Tell you what, let's go ahead and warm up this phone line here because I think we got a phone call coming in here. I believe it is from one of my favorite people here that calls this show, calls the Sports Web, and calls this pregame show. Mr. Curtis, welcome to the NSPN pregame show live here at Ducky's. What do you have to say? Bucs versus the Rams.
I'm mad because I can't be out there because I got to go to work tonight.
That's all right. You're here with us. You're calling in. I mean, your thoughts. What's the biggest key to this game for the Bucs to beat the Rams in L.A.?
Joe Tryon.
What now?
Joe Tryon, he said.
Joe Tryon.
Yep.
Touchdown Kansas City, by the way.
All right, so touchdown Kansas City right there, updating it. Go ahead.
Can he pick up some of the slack JPP left out there?
Right. I mean, that's the key.
I'm not really worried about obviously AB Winston is gonna his production, we're gonna miss that a little bit. But I really feel like Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson and OJ Howard,
they'll be fine.
Pick up a lot of that slack today.
Well, that's the key to it at this point. I mean, when you're missing an Antonio Brown, yeah.
What I want people to understand is, I'm sorry, but you don't have a lot of teams in the NFL don't have, 3 or 4 options. We are a team that has like 7 options that we can go to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Throw the ball to.
Right.
So, missing AV is a key component to the game, but still got Mike Evans, still got Gotti, still got Gronk, still got Brick, you still got Howard, we know what Scotty Miller can do. Tyler Johnson has proven himself somewhat. I would like to see Giovanni Bernard get more screens out the backfield this week, or more catches out the backfield this week.
How concerned are you about this running situation? We heard from BA about Ronald Jones and his lack there of play, especially when it comes to pass protection, mental mistakes, not getting the first down. I mean, how concerned are you? Do you have confidence in Leonard Fournette and Giovanni Bernard to pick up the slack for this running game?
Leonard Fournette, he for the most part, he does his thing. That catch, that interception against Dallas, I was kind of very, very angry about that.
Mm-hmm.
But, Leonard Fournette, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's not a great catcher out of the backfield.
Right.
And I think where Ronald Jones is right now, I think Giovanni Bernard can pick up a lot of his slack. Because Giovanni, people act like Giovanni Bernard can't run the ball. At one point in time, he was the guy in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's going to be a 4 or 5 a carry kind of a game kind of guy.
He learn how to run the ball consistently,
mm-hmm.
and we just need to, play better pass coverage. I know we're beat up in that secondary real bad. I honestly like Mike Edwards to play the slot this week.
I do too. I'd like to see. Yeah.
I don't know if I want Mike Edwards covering slot receivers a whole lot, personally.
I think he did a good job last week.
Against who?
The thing I'm afraid of is, I'm not afraid, but man, that damn Cooper Kupp, man, that kid in the slot, man, he is like, oh my.
And remember, also, you got your old friend there, our old friend, probably one of the worst free agent signings of all time for the Bucs, Deshaun Jackson in the fold. So maybe he makes some type of impact with his speed.
I don't feel like running this place, so I'm just saying.
Still's got speed. I mean, that's the thing at the end of the day. That's what I'm kind of looking at.
What? I'm going to tell you something. Hit Deshaun Jackson. I want Deshaun Jackson to get hit in the mouth real hard. That's all I want.
He's not been playing a whole lot.
I just wonder if they're kind of bringing out Sean McVay would do something along.
And the
those
problem
lines.
with having Mike Edwards in the game a ton as the nickel is these offensives can scheme matchups to get a Cooper Kupp on a Mike Edwards, which that is a total mismatch.
To a certain degree, but he is a ball hawk. He's always around him. But I understand what you're saying.
He's not a speed run. He's not a big runner.
No.
You don't want him matched up in the slot on Kupp or even Robert Woods, maybe the tight end, maybe Higbee.
But here's the thing. You could have him at the slot, but you're going to have that safety help.
Correct.
Yeah, well,
we're going to have safety help over the top.
Right. Him, but I feel like Carlton Davis could hold his own against like Robert Woods.
Correct.
Yes, absolutely. No, even Jamel Dean. Jamel Dean will be able to do fine against Robert Woods
if he stays within himself and plays
every
the technique.
Every cornerback's that. You got to say the same thing.
But he has those. Go ahead.
I think we're going to be more surprised than anything with the secondary.
So you think it's going to be a low-scoring game? You don't buy this nonsense that it could be a high-scoring affair? You think that it could be a defensive battle? That would be interesting. Oh, okay.
I think at least 20 points is going to get scored by each team. I'm thinking maybe at least even 30.
The winning team. I think the winning team's getting to 30.
I'm thinking that the secondary is going to come up with a big play.
Right.
And they might potentially win this game for us.
Okay. All right.
Everybody's talking about, what our secondary is going to do against their offense. But only thing I'm nervous about is Jalen Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't worried about nobody else in their secondary. Me personally.
And remember who the defensive coordinator is for them nowadays, Raheem Morris.
Who cares?
No.
Oh yeah. Why did he leave Tampa again? Oh
right.
Yeah, that's right. Because he sucked.
Oh, my bad. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Wrong button there. Yeah, I mean, Raheem Morris. I mean, that's another. I think he's been good. I think he's been better. Look,
interception Bengals about to make it 24-7.
I think
I'll take him over Mike Smith and maybe even Greg Schiano any day.
Right.
He wasn't the guy for us at that time. We had a great team and he couldn't keep that team together.
I got you. All right. So what's your prediction for this game, and who do you think stands out now without an Antonio Brown? Is it a Chris Godwin? Is it somebody different? What's going to happen in this game, Curtis?
Well, let's say this. Got a couple things to say. I'm gonna let y'all know. First, we know Jalen Ramsey is going to be wherever number 13 is the whole game.
I think that's true. Yep.
I don't think you're going to see that.
No, you disagree a lot today. That's good. I like that. You make me think.
They better be afraid of Godwin in the slot.
Well, Godwin has feasted on this team in the past. I mean, once again, 13 catches for 167 yards. That was last year's total. But in all, the last couple of years, Chris Godwin, 19 receptions, 225, 3 touchdowns. That'll tell you everything you need to know. If Jalen Ramsey is on Chris Godwin, I feel good about Mike Evans versus the other corner.
Sure.
I think you do.
I'm sorry, but hasn't Gronk looked better than he has? And are they really sure they're ready for him and maybe even OJ Howard? I think Cameron Brate could do something to him if they get the opportunity.
I do think you're going to see.
They're going to be so worried about the outside, they're going to forget about the inside.
I do think with Antonio Brown not available, that you're going to see more 2 tight ends, because that makes the safeties have to play for the Rams.
Yes.
You can stay away from Ramsey a little bit. You don't have to We don't have to throw at him. You're going to see the matchups. I think that you're going to see some OJ and Cam Braid as the second tight end with Gronk.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna say we're gonna score. You know what? I retract my statement. I think both teams are gonna score over 30.
Okay.
I think the score is going to be let's say 42-35.
Wow.
42-35. All right.
Troy and Aikman will have a lot of talk about it. 42-35.
I like it, Curtis. And I tell you what, I'm going to give you the woo here. Woo! By Ric Flair. I'll give you a cannons right there. Thanks a lot for the call, and we'll see you at the post-game edition, all right?
All right, brother.
All right, there you go. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and take a break. Let's go ahead and play this hype video here. I kind of like this. We're live here at Ducky Sports Lounge. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Jason Powers. Keep it locked. Here we go.
24-7, Cincinnati. Wow.
Brady able to throw and hit Evans again. Got the first down, trying to spin for more. Still on his feet. And he gets there. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Gift wrap that to him. First turnover of the night.
Now let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West, a state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track hits your eardrum like a slug to your chest. Like a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex. We in that sunshine state where the bomb ass him be. The state where you never find a dance floor empty and pimp speed. On a mission for them greens. Lean, mean, money making machines serving fiends. I've been in the game, the king. Do it all. Get down and dirty. Under 4
to go. Brady has Godwin, who was wide open. And it's a touchdown.
Straight putting it down for California, yeah. West Coast. That's right.
California dreaming. Soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing hoochie screaming, fiending for money and alcohol. The life of a West Side player with cows die in a strong ball. Only in Cali will we riot, not rally to live and die. In LA we wear chucks, not valleys. Yeah, that's right. Dressed in loafs and khaki suits and ride is what we do. Flossing but have caution, we collide with other crews famous because we program. Worldwide, let them recognize from Long Beach to Rose Brand. Bumping and grinding like a slow jam. It's West Side, so you know the road will bow down to no man.
All right, welcome back here to NSPN's pregame edition of your watch party, getting you ready for Bucs versus the Rams. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Jason Powers, who is gone away for just a moment. That's okay. We'll take your phone calls, breaking down this matchup live here at Ducky's, 1719 West Kennedy Boulevard in Tampa. Bucs fans, are you ready? 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the 2-0 LA Rams with their new quarterback and Matt Stafford. What's the key to this game for you? Who's the standout player? Is it a Chris Godwin? The easy answer is Tom Brady coming into this game. 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Can this Bucs team get it done with all the injuries that they have? Antonio Brown out. JPP out. Jaden Mickens out. Guys are going to have to step up here. Wow, thank you very much. I appreciate you. There you go. See, this is the reason why you come to Ducky Sports Lounge, because people actually give you drinks when you nearly lost your voice here. So let me hear from you. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Antonio Brown, can a Scotty Miller? Is it Miller time? Is it Tyler Johnson time? We saw what the guy can do. We saw what the kid can do when he's put in a situation to catch a pass. Remember, Bucs fans, against the Saints? Again, Tom Brady, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's got to find a way to distribute that ball to these wide receivers. Possibly a Gronkowski in this game. What's going on, Mr. Jason Powers? Took a little intermission there with our hype video. Thanks to the great Rhett Matthew for that. CSB brother right there. Took a drink. We talked about it. Is it Miller time? Is it Tyler Johnson time? I'm excited because not only you're missing Antonio Brown, you like to have him because he's second on the team in receiving, but it gives you the opportunity to take a look at a Scotty Miller. We've seen him before at that position. We've seen Tyler Johnson, but also namely a Jalen Darden, because Jaden Mickens is not going to play in this game.
You're not going to see Jalen Darden much today.
Special teams?
Maybe returns.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Special teams counts, my friend.
I got
all
it.
3 phases: offense, defense, and special teams.
I don't think Bruce Arians in this kind of game is necessarily going to put a lot of pressure on Jalen Darden.
We shall see.
We will.
We will see.
Hopefully, I'm surprised. I mean, hopefully, it's a surprise, but I think you're going to see safety. Scotty Miller's a punt returner. He's done some of that. I think you'll see. You may see on kickoff returns,
right,
Darden back there, but most kickoff returns are kicked through the end zone.
Okay.
I don't think if it's a big moment, I don't think you're going to see Darden out there personally.
All right, good stuff. So again, want to hear from you. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go ahead and go out to these comments right here from Troy Polamalu, King Troy, Trojan Legend SC. Florida State Criminals are getting Christian Ponder as their next head coach, and you're getting this. That's what you get. How about that? I love trolls. That's great. Whoa, the big guy just disappeared. He did. He had to go off for a break. It happens, my friend. It's all right.
I had to get Peter some Sprite.
Well,
that was me. I did that for you.
Oh, you did that for me?
That was for you.
Oh,
I had
well,
the
thank
delivery.
you. I appreciate that. You're the man. Appreciate that.
You're
Yeah.
at Duckies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
All right, so let's go out to, are you guys at Showgirls? No, we are not. I love this guy. I gotta buzz him again. Here we go. All right, Bill Belichick will not be back next Patriots 2022-23 season. Now, there was some comments from Alex Guerrero, and I wanted to know what you thought about this.
Yeah.
Just to paraphrase, basically Belichick treated Brady like he was a 20-year-old, didn't really appreciate it. Of course, Brady, when he was asked about it, kind of put out that fire, said, look, family, personal trainers are concerned about me. I had a great time with the New England Patriots, but it's kind of telling that this is coming from his personal trainer that he talks to on a daily basis. So you kind of feel like maybe this is from Tom Brady himself in so many words.
Again, you're gonna see people with the touchdown Kansas City. You're gonna see people with the comments as we lead into this game next week. His dad was on the radio up in Boston with some comments. Guerrero's got some comments. And you're right. Tom Brady probably communicated those things to both of those people.
Sure.
And they're kind of his filter.
Right. They're kind of his mouthpiece.
Tom's not going to say that.
No.
And he's not going to. You're going to see that in the book in about 10 years.
It's like Jim Gray. When Jim Gray says something and you think it's from Tom Brady, more than likely it's from Tom Brady, not Jim Gray. That's how it works. So were you surprised? I mean, we kind of knew their relationship was fractured the last couple of years because the whole story was Belichick wanted Garoppolo, Brady went to the owner.
And remember, too, here's another thing about Alex Guerrero. You got to remember, Alex Guerrero's got his own beef with the Patriots because they kicked him out of the building.
Sure.
He used to be in the building with the Patriots. And about 4 years ago,
which is also very telling because the Bucs have basically, kind of put out the red carpet, if you will. Right. He can do whatever he wants to. So yes, I get
Guerrero has some beef with the Patriots organization as well.
Sure.
Because again, remember, nobody knew who Alex Guerrero was before Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Right.
It's not like he was Alex Guerrero.
Known. Right. He's known.
Right. So he's going to defend Brady. He's always going to take Brady's side. I don't think the truth is that extreme to what he's saying about the Patriots. Sure, Belichick coached Brady hard.
Yeah.
He called him out. Whether he was 25 or whether he was 35, he's going to call out Tom Brady.
Sure, absolutely. And all that hype will be after this game, of course, and you got to take care of business with the LA Rams. Right. But everybody is looking forward to that matchup. Tom Brady going back to Foxborough, Sunday Night Football, my birthday. So that's a good omen already.
Yep.
Bucs versus the Patriots next Sunday night. Will be here live at 6:00 on NSPN.
Touchdown Buffalo Bills 33-14 over the Washington football team.
And I thought Washington actually had a defense. I guess not. Maybe not.
They're not playing very well.
No,
Josh Allen's playing really well today, though.
Well, I mean, I think there were a lot of fantasy football owners that were disappointed when he put up that stinker.
Don't get off the bandwagon.
That's
that
it.
Guy's a player.
Jason Powers right there. I'm your host, Peter Blake, live here on NSPN, live from Ducky, 1719 West Kennedy Boulevard in Tampa. Let's keep on reading some of these comments there. So we read that from Corey.
Jacksonville extends the lead to 20-10 over Arizona. Surprise, mid to late third quarter.
It's not over yet. We know Arizona and how they can come back in their offensive weapons, but coming into the game, is it a surprise? Maybe not. DeAndre Hopkins not necessarily 100%, so that may be an impact.
Surprised their offense is not moving the ball a little more better.
I'm surprised by that too. What a huge win for Urban Meyer in Jacksonville with all the talk this week of him.
But you're right.
Yes.
They need it. They need that.
No show on Monday and Friday. You really hurt me this week. Well, you really hurt me. How about this? Gotta love you, Troy Polamalu, King Troy, Trojan legend, SC. Patriots are looking ahead to the Bucs game and didn't show up today. No, I don't necessarily think they're looking ahead to that game. I just think they're getting their doors blown off by a Saints team, which, 1 week they're world beaters versus the Green Bay Packers, and then the next week they're beaten by the Carolina Panthers, who, by the way, are what, 3-0 to start this young season? Surprised by them? And Sam Darnold?
Pretty soft schedule.
It's still 3-0. Got to play.
I agree. You got to win them.
Right.
So give them credit. But let's see what they do the next 4 or 5 weeks with no Christian McCaffrey.
Wow, that's going to be
tougher schedule, tougher opponent.
Well, we heard from Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. He said he talked to somebody, and it was looking like 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll see what happens. I need Christian McCaffrey on my fantasy team to play well.
Right. Yeah,
I need that.
I don't think he's going to play for a month.
Well, thanks a lot.
I got him on my team, so I want him to play too. I'm just giving you the reality.
Great minds think alike. Jason Powers, the Power Man. Go ahead and promote yourself here on live on NSPN.
Check us out on the Powers on Sports podcast, the No Quarter Given podcast that me and Peter host together. We talk all things football.
Our great friend TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network. Just saying.
In LA today on the sidelines, you'll see TJ if you're listening to the Buccaneer Radio Network with Gene and Dave Moore.
Love them.
Yep, they'll be on the call. So and TJ's great analysis and insight from the sidelines. So and TJ's been very, very
very accommodating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Helpful to us and all that good stuff. So
absolutely.
we appreciate it. We love some TJ.
Yeah, we do. We'll get them on the sports web throughout the week and here live on NSPN. And, of course, I love St. Pete. Okay, Christopher Cole says Belichick needs to release re-sign off of Jones. The reins. Okay, Belichick needs to release the reins off of Jones. I guess, and again, that's the problem with starting a rookie quarterback is the training wheels are on. You can only do so much with that playbook. He's coming into the league. He's coming out of Alabama, so he doesn't necessarily know the offense right away. That's why so many quarterbacks that come into the league.
Everybody wanted to see Justin Fields today. They've got 3 points through 3 quarters.
Wow.
In Cleveland. And not that Cleveland's got a good defense.
I don't
but
think
everybody
Andy
thought,
Dalton's going to do anything for you. So at the end of the day, if the kid gets his feet wet.
My point is everybody thought Justin Fields was going to be coming with a world on fire. Not so much.
Cleveland's pretty good. Pretty good defense there, my friend. Let's see here. Make sure to come back at Ducky's past 11. Get 2-for-1 dance specials. And I'll make sure to do this for you. How about that?
Shut up!
All right, so with that being said, I tell you what, let's go out to former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Chidi Ahanotu and his thoughts on the 99 NFC Championship game. In fact, you got to watch the interview because I kind of make him mad. I make a lot of people mad on this broadcast, including some of our fans here. So very interesting here from Mr. Chidi Ahanotu on the 99 NFC Championship game. Of course, if you don't remember that, Bucs fans, that was the game where the Bucs were winning 6-5 and they go on to lose 11-6.
Burt Emanuel.
Well,
no catch.
Here's what Chidi Ahanotu had to say about it here live on NSPN, live at Ducky's. Here we go. Of course, the Bucs are playing the Rams next week.
Absolutely.
You always think about 99 in that NFC Championship game. What could have been?
Oh, all the time.
The catch.
I'm still pissed off about it.
How could you not be? I mean, you guys shut down one of the greatest offenses, right, in NFL history. You were winning 6-5. Of course, you go for the blitz in the fourth quarter, and then Ricky Prohl catches the touchdown. It looks like you guys have an opportunity to come back. Burt Emanuel looks like he has a catch. Maybe there's an opportunity there to extend the drive. And then, of course, the NFL says there's no catch. And then the very next year, they changed the rule because they know they were wrong. How do you feel about that whole situation, GD?
I'm pretty pissed off. You're pissing me off right now.
I don't want to do that.
I was having a good night till now.
Damn it, Peter. God
now I need to go in that bar over there and have a couple drinks.
Well, see, there you go. See, we're trying to get you out of here, but trying to get you out of here on a positive note.
On a positive note. Man. No, that was tough, man. And that was one of the best games I ever played in. And the shutdown offensive powerhouse like that in their house for a championship game, man, it was an awesome feeling, you know. And honestly, I had to hold myself up for a few weeks in a hotel after that game because I was just so devastated, you know. Like you spend every ounce and fiber of your being
right
on
body's
that
on the
field.
line.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
And then to lose it that way was just, it was just devastating. So, but you know, maybe one day it won't hurt so bad anymore, you know.
All right, welcome back to NSPN live from Ducky Sports Lounge. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Jason Powers on Sports Podcast.
Cheaty, bang, bang.
He was upset, 34.5 sacks in his Buccaneer career, big part of that defensive line. And the other big announcement on this platform is that Chidi Ahanotu has agreed to box Warren Sapp, of course, awaiting approval from Mr. Sapp. Your thoughts on Chidi Ahanotu, his impact on that defense, your best memories from that 99 championship game, and then Ahanotu versus Sapp. Who do you got and why?
Are we really going to talk Chidi Ahanotu?
We are.
And Warren Sapp fighting
We
each
are.
other
We
in a
are.
ring?
We are. Why not? I tell you what, let's go out to Ed here. I'll save you right here. Ed will save you. Ed, welcome back to NSPN's watch party here live from Ducky's. Go ahead.
Hey, I was mad because I couldn't call that during that Chidi Ahanotu interview you did last week, man. That was cool. And I hope he beats the living crap out of Warren Sapp.
So you got Ahanotu? You feel like because Chidi kind of put this out there. He said he's not only doing it for himself, but he's doing it for the community because he's kind of tired of hearing from all the people talk bad about how Sapp is treating them. So he's doing it for not only himself, but for the people.
The guy doesn't. Warren Sapp didn't understand that the only reason why he got a paycheck is because of people like me, people like you, that were interested in watching the Buccaneers play.
Right.
You know, when I ran into him with my daughter one time at a Tampa restaurant, which I would remain nameless.
Correct.
I had my daughter go up to him. He was actually, I think he was there with Booger McFarland, of all people.
Interesting.
And he goes, my daughter tries to get, he just snapped at her. He was mean. He was a complete jerk. And my daughter's like 9 years old, dude, and trying to become a football fan. And after that, forget it, man. She would not go near another player ever.
Sapp's had his issues off the field, no doubt about it. Obviously he's got in trouble with the prostitutes and all that stuff. He lost his NFL Network job because of that.
Right.
So, because he was doing a pretty good job on NFL Network.
I'm not saying
he was
he's
a good
not.
analyst.
And look,
He's
he's
a player.
greatest defensive tackle of all time. Absolutely. Especially when it comes down to, Tampa Bay Buccaneer history. But at the end of the day, off the field, and they had, they went at it a long time ago. So we'll see if it happens. I know that Ahana has agreed to it. We'll see if Sapp agrees
You'll
to it.
never see that fight.
I don't think.
You don't think, huh?
I don't think that has a cojones. I don't think Sapp has a cojones.
Well,
we'll see.
There you go. It'll be here, though. We'll have it. We'll have it when it comes.
Before we get to live developments,
You don't think that'll be a pay-per-view, man?
no, please, bro. They'll be lucky if they're fighting at the Armory down here at the Tampa Armory.
Easy killer.
I'm just saying.
I'm telling you, there's a little bit more behind.
Okay,
this.
but who wants to see it?
I want to see it. You want to see it.
I don't want to see it.
Ed wants to see it.
You're the one. You and Ed are the
Plenty of fans that want to see it. Plenty of people want to see it.
They're not going to.
Want to see Sapp's block get knocked off.
Yes. Why not?
By the way, live update. Trevor Lawrence just throw a flea flicker out route to the Arizona Cardinals. It's now Arizona 23, Jacksonville 19.
There you go. See, too early. Arizona, Trevor Lawrence showing his rookie ability as a quarterback. Go ahead.
You want to watch a game that'll put you to sleep?
What's up?
Keep watching that Chiefs game, man.
Well, the Giants Falcons game is even worse than the Chiefs game. I think it's 7-6 over there.
Wow. All right. So, yes.
I was pretty bad about that. And then, it was really weird because, your show was supposed to come on at a certain time, and then it didn't come on. And then the next thing I knew, you texted me, and you're like, oh, there's going to be a big announcement. No, you called me. So there's going to be a big announcement and all this stuff. I was like, wow, I thought you were, retiring or something.
No. I'm too young to retire. Why does everything I'm retiring or firing or quitting? Do I seem like the firing type to you? I mean, honestly, do I seem like that? I mean, if I ever leave somewhere, I'll tell you I leave.
It was just weird that day.
It's all right. It's okay. All right, Ed. Anything else?
That'll do it, man. Go Bucs.
All right, there you go. Go Bucs. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for you right there. Good stuff, Ed. Appreciate you. Retiring. So, all right, go back to the 99 game.
I mean, that was that was a classic offense versus defensive matchup. We came in with the very mediocre offense, with the unbelievable defense. Obviously, it's the greatest show on turf. Warner, Holt, Isaac Bruce, Oz Hakeem, Dick Vermeil, all the Mike Martz, all the
luminaries.
Yes, all the theatrics of that offense.
Sure.
I mean, I think the part of that game that was disappointing for me as a fan is that we had opportunities to extend our lead.
Sure.
We just couldn't. If we'd have got 17 points, that might have been enough. That probably would have been enough in that situation.
Correct.
We just left points on the board early in the game. And as we talked about on our podcast, the longer you let the Rams hang around, they're eventually going to make a play.
And then, of course, 1979, the Bucs lose one game away from facing the Pittsburgh Steelers with that top-notch defense. Doug Williams goes out with an injury.
Yep.
I told you the story. My mother, big-time Bucs fan, she thought she was going to have my sister at the time, and she swore, and I thought she was full of it, that Doug Williams and Leroy Selmon both got hurt, and that's the reason what happened. And that's absolutely the
Major
reason.
Factor.
Both of those.
We didn't score. We lose 9-0 at home.
9-0. So there you go. So there is definitely a history with the LA Rams, St. Louis Rams, whatever you want to call them. They're Rams. And today the Bucs try to go 3-0 with Tom Brady against Matt Stafford. What other matchups are you kind of looking at that you're kind of looking forward to in this game?
I'll give you another live update. LA Chargers just scored to go up 21-17.
Wow.
On the Kansas City Chiefs early fourth quarter.
All right. So there you go.
Got a good finish in store here at Arrowhead. Matchups, I mean, again, to me, it's going to be a defensive and offensive line matchup. Whichever quarterback has the most time to process the defense and make the decision, I think it's going to be the most effective. And if they both have time, then it's going to be who's opportunistic on the back end. This is going to be a DB game.
Yeah.
Not a lot of linebacker. I mean, sure. Is Levante
Well, you
David
saw David and the impact of Devin White, and I still think that, Devin White, with his sack total last year, you haven't really seen him have that type of production these last 2 games. So this could be the type of game where Todd Bowles mixes it up. But that's the problem, Jason. When you're blitzing, then you're leaving one-on-one coverage. You're taking chances, and that's where Matt Stafford can really hurt you. And if Jared Goff hurt you last year at Raymond James Stadium, you know that Matt Stafford can hurt you with the weapons that the Rams have.
They do, no doubt. It's going to be, again, who can. These guys are in the NFL for a reason as cornerbacks. Who can cover man-to-man? There's going to be a lot of one-on-one situations today in this game on both sides.
All right, open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the Power Man himself, Mr. Jason Powers. Powers on Sports Podcast, No Quarter Given Podcast. Of course, live here on NSPN and I Love St. Pete. With all that being said, the quarterbacks, it's always the story. But the running back situation for the Bucs, we're gonna see what Fournette does today. Yep. We're gonna see Ronald Jones. Is there a possibility coming back to LA, being a USC guy? True. Maybe that's some motivation. He's ran against them before,
or maybe he tries too hard.
I don't know. They got to get more production out of their running game. They have to.
They do.
I think you can do that versus this Rams defense, although, they've been pretty good. They were good against the Colts last week, holding them to under 100 yards.
Yep, I know, no doubt. And again, I don't think the Bucs are ever going to be prolific running attack, but you have to get the attempts.
Yeah.
The Bucs got to be around 20 attempts every week. If they can get to 20 attempts most every week, keeps the defense honest, allows the play action game to happen. And again, I think today you may see a little more of Giovanni Bernard in the passing game.
Well, this is why
you went out and signed Gio Bernard for games like this to be a weapon in the passing game.
This is what Byron Leftwich had to say about Jones. I just think he missed one pass protection assignment. It's been 100-something plays, and he didn't do his job on really one. No concern on my end. I think he's always in a good mindset. Leftwich continue. He always plays hard. He's always comes out here, prepares himself the best he can. He practices hard. He looks no different than he looked before. It's been a long time since he went to school out there as a pro. You get rid of that quick. It's more about the opponent, more about doing what he needs to do to prepare to get ready to go this week for a tough opponent. So,
and again, Byron's not going to kill him.
No.
He knows Bruce has already kind of let him have a little bit in the media. Correct. Byron's trying to build him back up, keep the confidence up, because we need Ronald Jones.
I agree.
Say what you want. You got to have 2 running backs.
I agree. And when I say victim of volume, I truly mean that. But again, I will go back on this. If you're not doing what you need to do, which is pass protect, catch the ball consistently, you're putting the ball on the ground. And some people were saying today, Keyshawn Vaughn gets an opportunity if Ronald Jones falls back. Vaughn hasn't proven that he can be a number 1 running back in this league because he also puts the ball on the ground. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Any other great memories with this Bucs-Rams matchup? But we talked about 99. We talked about 79.
Eric Dickerson killed us in the 80s.
You watched that.
Eric Dickerson was the man back in the mid-80s.
At least the Rams, you think, don't have a running back like that. Darrell Henderson looks like he's not going to play in this game. That's a break. Sony Michel, who Tom Brady knows very well with the Patriot days.
It's a completely different NFL than it was in the mid-80s as far as the style of play.
But there's no player like a Dickerson that's going to run against that Bucs defense. Right. So that's your memory. I think it's the year after, 2000, that great Monday Night Football game with Warwick Dunn and Sean King. You never forget that.
Absolutely. And Sam Weiss, the Bucs, when Sam Weiss took over in 92, they blew a big lead on a Sunday night game, up 27-3 and lose.
Yeah.
And Sam Weiss's first year as coach. So, it's been a good rivalry. The Rams have gotten the better of us. 9-15 is the overall record, I think.
9-15.
2 playoff losses to the Rams. So those are the ones that hurt you the most, were the playoff losses.
And NFC championship losses.
Yeah. And it seems like we've both been good at kind of the same time. In the late 90s, early 2000s, both franchises were pretty good. Now back here in the early 2020s, we're both good again. So it seems like we both kind of go in waves of when we're good.
All right, so here's some numbers here to keep track of. Rob Gronkowski's caught a pair of touchdowns in 3 consecutive games, including Super Bowl 55. If he can do that one more time in LA, he will become the first tight end in NFL history to have done so in 4 straight games, playoffs included. And, of course, this team on a 10-game winning streak from last year after their Super Bowl championship, scoring 39.5 points a game. So this offense really unstoppable. This is going to be a challenge for that Rams defense. Everybody talks about Bucs defense versus the Rams offense, but don't forget, once again, this is going to be a challenge for that Rams defense, and they're going to have to answer today. And it comes down to Gronkowski, who's played very well, I think much better than he did last year. And the reason why, Jason Powers, is because he's very comfortable in that offense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and the Bucs set the record last week, NFL record of 9 straight games with over 30. They broke the Patriots record from 2007 with Brady of 8 straight games of over 30. So, again, we're going to score 24 minimum, I think. I think that's the minimum we'll score in this game. It's a matter of, can you get over 30? And if you got to get to 38 to win the game due to the other team, can you get to 38?
Big game by Chris Godwin. And look at this. Check this out. Chris Godwin caught his 26th career touchdown pass in last Sunday's win over Atlanta. He needs one more to get to 27 and tie Mark Carrier for the 6th most in franchise history. Pretty good company there. Mark Carrier, if you're a big-time Bucs fan, it looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers have turned over the ball.
The ball's been stripped.
Complete disaster at home today by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They recovered.
Bingo. Okay. Well, it's been a complete
they're
disaster.
Still in big trouble.
24-7 right now. And I don't know about you. I've watched this game. Does Ben Roethlisberger look like he's done? Does he look like he's seen his best days? He's washed up.
Their offensive line is not very good.
Well, it hasn't been good last year.
I know, but
that's this year.
I agree.
Bends
it towards the end, but the offensive line's not very good either.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how good the play calling's been. Remember, they changed offensive coordinators in the offseason. New offensive coordinator.
Well, you can get 1,000 offensive coordinators long past there, deflected by looks like they're going to pick up interference on the Bengal defender Chase Claypool going deep
wobbly
for that
wobbly getting up.
Yep, and then again they update on the Saints score 21-6 over the New England Patriots. Kind of a surprise. I thought the Patriots would give, especially that defense, give Jameis Winston problems, but they really haven't today.
No.
In fact, it's been the other way around.
The Saints defense is one that's given Mac Jones all
which
the
is
problems.
A shocker to me, which is completely shocking.
At least 3 turnovers, maybe 4.
And say whatever you want to about the Saints defense, but doesn't Dennis Allen
pretty good.
deserve some recommendation, if you will?
He'll get an opportunity as a head coach one of these.
I'm just saying. I mean, he's kind of turned around that Saints defense, and that was their Achilles heel for so many years.
Absolutely. No doubt. So, that Saints defense is they're real. Last week was an anomaly with all the COVID issues with New Orleans, all the injury issues in Carolina.
Yeah.
This Saints defense is good.
All right, let's go out to the comments here. Troy Polamalu, make sure to come back at Ducky's, all right? And Rams 40-27 over the Bucs. So Troy Polamalu, King Troy, Trojan legend, I'll give you this.
Shut up!
All right, so we went through some of the numbers and some of the other matchups here.
Arizona starting to separate, about to score again in Jacksonville. They're first and goal at the 10, so they're going to go up at least 27-19, maybe 31-19. So that game is turned quickly in Jacksonville.
Nice. There you go. Good stuff there. So getting live updates. Did Pittsburgh just score? What happened there? Chase Claypool looks like
injured.
He's hurt.
Yeah, a little.
Looks like he's hurt in that.
Kansas City's at about the 10-yard line to try to take the lead again from the Chargers with about 8 minutes to go in Arrowhead.
Surprised by that Sunday night result, and a lot of people made a big deal about Lamar Jackson flipping the end zone. I don't think he should have done it because it looks like
stupidity, man.
It kind of looks like he hurt his hip, but that's the kind of thing that
Lamar
you can't
do that.
But that's the kind of decisions that Lamar Jackson has made on and off the field. And I get it. You want to showboat, and you're happy about scoring a touchdown versus the Chiefs, but it's not needed to flip in the end zone because you actually may hurt yourself.
Do what you have to do to run the ball. If you want to run the ball, okay, but don't do unnecessary stuff to take unnecessary punishment.
Correct.
And that's nothing but unnecessary.
Correct. Agree.
And they're winning today, so they're going to probably they're up 16-7 on the Lions. But it's the point of decision making.
Correct. It's decision
preserve your body
on and off the field that has hurt this kid from taking that next step, in my opinion, to being one of the top.
That's why he hasn't got paid
echelon.
yet. He hasn't got the extension yet.
Well, if he hurts himself, he's not going to get paid at all. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Live here on NSPN. I Love St. Pete. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Jason Powers on Sports Podcast. We didn't talk about this last week, but Monty Kiffin went into the Ring of Honor really quick.
Yep.
Want to go out to you. Actually, I'll tell you what. I'll hold off on you. We'll go out to Chidi Ahanatu and his thoughts and what kind of impact Monty Kiffin, the former defensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, now Ring of Honor recipient, going in there last week, had an impact on him live on the
touchdown Kansas City, 24-21. We got a barn burner in Arrowhead.
There you go. There's your update right there. Let's go out to Chidi Ahanatu. Impact of Monty Kiffin on him live on the NSPN watch party from Ducky's. Here we go.
Oh, Monty was fabulous, man. I mean, he was like the uncle, or I don't want to say grandfather because that's just too old, but he was like family, man. You know, Monty took you under wing, and you know, he kept us all together and he kept the meetings interesting. You know, Monty is a character. I don't know if anybody saw that today when he got inducted, but you know, he kept things light. He would come in and playing music, you know, and
what kind of music does he like to play?
Well,
he's the mad scientist, so
he would come in playing, you know, different stuff,
right?
You know, just every once in a while, just you know, shock value, I guess. But no, Monty was integral in my career and a lot of other guys. You know, he kept things, you know what to expect from him. You know, he kept things simple. I actually made a joke about him getting inducted. I said, Monty getting inducted. All we had was 2 calls. That's all we did. And we just let the dogs loose after that, you know? So how the hell is he making the Ring of Honor? Monty had 2 calls, and we didn't even have to huddle, really. It's over, under, or over, or under. That's it. Over cover 2 or under cover 2.
Yep.
And that was it. Sometimes we'd have a blitz.
Right.
You know, but no, Monty's awesome, man. Well-deserved. I was happy to see his name up there on the Ring of Honor. I think it's next to Tony's. Yes, if I remember right.
Right.
Where it should be. And, you know, that's one other down, man.
All right, welcome back here live at Ducky Sports Lounge. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Jason Powers. You got Blake Anthony in the background about to come on here.
Touchdown Patriots. This game's getting a little tighter. 21-13.
It's not over yet, but your thoughts about Monty Kiffin going into the Ring of Honor, your best memories of the mad scientist.
I just remember when Monty Kiffin came to Tampa, I had no idea who he was when Dungy brought him to town.
Right.
You're like, everybody thought it was Tony Dungy's Tampa tune. It probably was a lot to some degree, but Monty Kiffin was the architect of the play calling. Tony let him do all the play calling. They had the same philosophies. I get it, but Monty Kiffin was so good at making players like Rondé Barber, who weren't the most physically gifted,
great point,
playing corner,
sure,
ball hawks, scheming blitzes. Everybody thought the Bucs never blitzed. That's not true. They would blitz Barber off the edge.
They blitzed in the 99 game, the 2000 NFC Championship game, and then get there when Ricky Pearl caught the touchdown.
We always had a great front four, but
Sure.
we always would incorporate Brooks on a blitz, Barber on a blitz, Lynch occasionally on a blitz, and he was just very good at scheming up defenses and making it easy for the guys to play, not having to think a whole lot, react.
Now, talking to him, he believes that Hardy Nickerson, the hardware man, should be the next recipient in the Ring of Honor for the Bucs. Is that how you feel? Have the Bucs missed out on a Hardy Nickerson? What about a Warwick Dunn? Are those two guys, especially a Nickerson, that should go in your opinion?
The problem with a Warwick Dunn is he was only here, 5 years? And I know it was a good 5 years, and I get it.
Did so much for the community.
He did. And he'll get in. Yes, that'll help.
And he had 2 tours, did he not, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I don't know if he came back a second time.
He did.
Okay.
Yes, he did. He came back around 07, 08.
Maybe his last year in the league.
And then they cut him loose again.
Really? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time. Yeah.
I mean, Hardy's a good guy. I mean, yeah, Hardy would be a guy that could be. I mean, there's lots of guys. I mean,
people say James Wilder. Wilder, with statistics alone, he says Hardy Nickerson because of the impact, because Hardy took him under his wing
They
developed
could
him.
all get in because
Sure.
the Bucs put in one a year. So you're going to have plenty of candidates over the next 7-8 years. Because, I got no problem with that.
Somebody was saying a lot of fans have embraced Chidi Ahanotu to a certain degree, but they haven't embraced Gerald McCoy. Gerald McCoy, should he be embraced more by this Buccaneer fan base, in your opinion?
He endured a lot. He was on some bad teams.
Right.
With not a lot of help.
Right.
I mean, he's probably undervalued a little bit as a true player with as many Pro Bowls as he made.
Played for a lot of losing teams.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
I could see Gerald McCoy in the Ring of Honor.
I know that Levante David is going to get in one of these days.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And with his statistics, if he keeps on going, he may get into the Hall of Fame, which is amazing.
Yep.
All right, guys, any comments about this game coming up? Bucs versus the Rams, 727-255. 0391 at 727-255-0391 live at Ducky Sports Lounge on NSPN, and I love St. Pete. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Jason Powers. So with that being said, we're going to go to Blake Anthony here really quick. We're going to get you off. Yep. But I tell you what, let's go out.
Can I give you my best bet of the day before?
Give me your best bet. Give me your prediction.
You guys that like to wager a little bit. I'm going to give you a couple things in the late games.
Okay.
I like Seattle today. -2.
Why do you like Seattle?
I just think they're better. I just think they're better.
You think they're better?
I just think they're better. I think the
even
offense,
if Minnesota needs that win, you still bet
with
Seattle.
no Dalvin Cook. But Seattle needs a win too. Seattle lost a bad game last week to Tennessee.
Not an Alex Madison fan?
He's a good player, but he's not Dalvin Cook.
Okay, fair enough.
I like Seattle on the road.
I love that Florida State biased. All right, good stuff.
I like the Cowboys Monday night -3.5.
Okay, so go back through it again. You like
Seattle -2 at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
I like the Bucs today. I'm going to take the Bucs 34-28 was my prediction.
Okay.
And then I like the Cowboys Monday night.
All right, Cowboys Monday night versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Tell you what, let's go out to Stephen Che of Barstool Sports with his breakdown of this Buccaneer defensive line, which may be a big-time key to get after Matt Stafford here live at Ducky's on NSPN. And, of course, I love St. Pete. Enjoy.
The interior of the Bucs defensive line gets my game ball. I'm going to show you 3 consecutive plays from Vita Vea that display his impact. First is my favorite. He just eats blocks for breakfast. They let him through, and he absorbs the fullback's block and just takes on the ball carrier. Incredible stuff. Looking at it from the sideline view, it's even more impressive how he just stands the fullback up and makes the tackle. Very next play, the fastest way to the quarterback is right up the middle. Vita Vea gives Matt Ryan less than 2 seconds to throw the ball. I mean, he bull rushes the center right into his lap, forcing him to get rid of it. The very next play, the Falcons say, okay, we need to help on this guy. Let's slide protection to Vita Vea. Well, that leaves Devin White unaccounted for, and he comes right through, up the middle, untouched. He's got to make that play. I have confidence he's going to do that next time. But that is the impact Vita Vea has on an offense on 3 consecutive plays. It won't show up on the stat sheet, but it is there. And he's not the only D tackle making plays. Ndamukong Suh showed off this nasty swim move earlier in the game. Rewinding it back, Michael Phelps would be jealous of this form. And Suh clogged up lanes all day, getting after the quarterback. In fact, he had a sack in this game on a TE stunt with Shaq Barrett. And just swings Matt Ryan down to the turf. And we can't forget about my guy Nacho. Raheem Nunez-Roches with one of the biggest plays of the game on 3rd and short. He gets an incredible jump and stops Cordarrelle Patterson in the backfield, forcing a punt. And he was playing with his hair on fire on Sunday. Check him out here. He refuses to get cut, just shrugs it off and makes the tackle on Cordarrelle Patterson. I love this celebration. Rewinding it back, the Bucs defensive tackles make this defense so effective, and they deserve a game ball after Sunday's performance.
All right, welcome back here live at Ducky Sports Lounge. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Blake Anthony of Sports Talk 49, as we'll get that lower third up there for you.
This is Austin Powers.
Yes, it does say that. There we go. Blake Anthony right there producing live. Go out to Stephen Che of Barstool Sports. Once again, great breakdown on that defensive line. And that could be a big-time component of this game, especially getting pressure on, of course, the Matt Stafford, a new toy, if you will, for the Rams. It seems like they have the same type.
Oh.
That's the reason why I got that. No, not Ronald Jones, Matt Stafford.
My bad. My
Will
fault.
you shut up and be quiet? All right. So what have you seen from this defensive line? You had Sue in the middle, of course, Vita Vea. Sue wants to prove something. He's a former Ram. He's still playing at a high level. BA talked about that. And, of course, Nacho. We had Mama Nacho on here a couple months ago talking to her. She's excited. We've also had Des Walker. So he's played well. This defensive line, big-time component today versus this Rams team?
Absolutely. Anytime you got to get after the quarterback is key, as you saw in weeks past, a couple weeks ago against Dallas when Dak had all day to throw. Was able to pick apart the secondary, which will happen to anybody if you get time to throw. But Stephen Shea sounds a lot like me, what I said what would happen on Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. I said over that guard center position, Vita Vea would have a field day, and boy, did he eat.
Yes.
Again, there was a lot of missed sacks in that game. They should have at least had 4 or 5 sacks in that game, which were missed. But Vita Vea does what Vita Vea does, is just disrupt. And the part I think Stephen Shea said best, unfortunately, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. But he is just disrupting everything behind the line of scrimmage, and just unfortunately, he's not getting the tackle, but other people are eating. But yeah, that front seven is going to be real good. I don't really think Sue has anything left to prove. He won a Super Bowl. He scored a touchdown the last time he was with the Rams, against the Rams in Los Angeles. So I don't think there's much else to prove. The Rams need to worry about the Rams and figure out how to get back to the Super Bowl with the new quarterback.
All right, so going over to the other side here with the Ram defensive line, of course, Aaron Donald, the last 2 matchups, not really an impact. Of course, he wants to make an impact, one of the best defensive players in the game, Leonard Floyd, and, of course, Jalen Ramsey. But let's talk about this line. Aaron Donald, that matchup with this offensive line, can they do it today? Namely the guards, Ali Marpet, of course, Alex Kappa, Ryan Jensen. Can they do it? Can they keep him quiet once again? Tristan Wirfs, Donovan Smith.
I know everybody's worried about AB and JPP AB being out, JPP being banged up. But the offensive line is fully intact. Those guys have been together for such years now. And as you just previously and beautifully said, Aaron Donald has been ineffective. And you have to give a lot of credit to, which I'm trying to get on the show, is Patrick O'Connor plays Aaron Donald in the show cards in practice. That's who plays Aaron Donald in practice.
Good insight.
Yeah, he plays Aaron Donald in practice, and that's why they're so well prepared playing the Rams every time. And Aaron Donald literally I think he had no tackles in the last game they played, and no sacks, and then no sacks in the game previously with Jameis Winston when they played. But I expect the Rams to run some stunts. I expect them to run some blitzes and try to find key one-on-one matchups to get pressure on Tom Brady.
All right, good stuff. So open phone line, what do you have to say about this matchup? Defensive lines, who's better? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Live on NSPN. And, of course, I Love St. Pete here at your watch party, getting you ready for Bucs versus the Rams. I almost said the Sports Web. I'm not going to do it. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Anthony. Blake and Blake Sports Talk 49. We'll go out to this comment here from Troy Polamalu, King Troy, Trojan Legend SC. Tell Lamar to stop having fun. This is a no-fun league. I talked about it with Jason Powers. It was a big deal because he actually was sore when he did the flip. I mean, I know how you feel about some of the players in the league and the NFL cracking down on the taunting and stuff like that, but why do that? Why flip? Yeah, I get it. Not a big deal, but kind of is if you get hurt, right? From Lamar Jackson?
I mean, you can fall, you can hurt yourself walking down the stairs, which I think somebody did and went out for the season, but whatever. I mean, he wasn't hurt. Just when you do stuff like that, you just make sure you win the game. You look kind of stupid when you do stuff like that, and then you end up losing the game or throwing a big turnover the next play.
Or your hip is hurt.
Yeah, you look pretty dumb when it happens.
Right, which is what Adam Schefter reported this week, and then it was known that it wasn't necessarily his hip. It was some stomach problems.
He does have stomach issue, which has been on record.
Right.
And he actually played well after he handled his bowels problem when he came back in.
I don't know. I don't like the flip thing, but I get it. You know, you want to showboat because you beat the Chiefs.
They weren't penalized for that, was he?
No, I don't think you were. And I was surprised by that because the NFL has kind of tried to crack down on that.
Well, Peter, I'll elaborate on that. I don't know if you've ever been on the field these days. What they say out there is pretty you wouldn't let your children listen to some of the stuff they say.
Right.
And that's why they're cracking down because it's a lot of, I'm not going to say it on the show, it's a lot of
BS.
BS. Like people of color know what goes on when there's a lot of, extracurricular in the scrums and all that, and what's said in there.
Sure.
What's said in there, and that's what the refs are really trying to clean up. That's what they're trying to clean up in there. The trash talk is fine. Hey, I'm going to burn you next time. They're not tripping because of that. They're tripping because all the other expletives that they're saying, that's the stuff that they're trying to clean, and which they should, because a lot of stuff said is really shouldn't be said.
Well, it's wrong. And look, at the end of the day, the NFL is trying to take you behind the curtain. You have the hard knocks. You have all this stuff going on, and some of this stuff appeared last year because of the pandemic and not having fans. But remember, when you open that Pandora's box, you open it up.
Yeah.
It's nice to have freedom, but then again, you have some of that freedom. It can be abused a little bit, and I think in this case, you always don't necessarily want to hear what an NFL player is saying in the heat of the moment.
No, God, no.
That's why a lot of media
awful.
members, before they get into the locker room, they have 15 minutes because they have that cooling down process for the players.
You can't go in there right then because the emotions are flying and liable to hear anything.
I'm not going to sit here and say that I think every NFL player is not going to curse or talk trash. Of course they are. I just understand what
line.
There's a line you have to. Right.
I'm
exactly.
I'm going to burn your ASS the next play. That's cool.
Right.
You start saying things about people's wives and saying racial slurs,
girlfriends, yes.
racial slurs.
Right.
That's what I was looking for last time.
Exactly.
Racial slurs and stuff like that. And like I said, you know what I'm talking
yes.
about. That's what they're saying, and that's what the refs are trying to clean.
I was kind of surprised, and bring that mic to you just a little bit there. I want to hear that jazz voice there, Mr. Blake
Smooth.
Anthony. Yes, smooth
Quiet
jazz.
Storm.
Exactly. Quiet Storm. Don't put everybody to sleep here. No baby making music, all
Oh,
right?
Lord.
Nowadays, people don't even want to see you have fun playing a sport. No, look, I understand, and I think they should focus more. Right. The flipping thing is stupid.
You're just going to hurt yourself.
Right. If you hurt yourself, you cost yourself the contract and the money.
And ironically, let me throw salt in the wound right here. Doesn't the Baltimore Ravens have enough injury problems as it is going on right now? I mean,
and this is a guy that's always under the microscope about making decisions on and off the field, whether it's COVID, whether it's interception problems. I don't get it. I don't get why you
COVID
continue.
and Lamar were in the room, they would always find each other.
Yes.
They always do for some way. He's always
reunited and it feels so good, not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. I'm your host, Peter Blake, live here at Ducky Sports Lounge, along with Blake Anthony at Sports Talk 49. Blake and Blake Sports. We talked about the defensive line. We also talked to Chidi Ahana, too. He was not over that 99 loss, and I think a lot of Bucs fans, even if they're St. Louis or LA, yes, they're not over that loss. Were you surprised to hear that from him the other night? He even mentioned how he had to go into a hotel room and stay for a couple days because he wasn't over. He was still upset when I asked the question. So were you surprised by that?
Being a former player myself, I know exactly what he's talking about. Anytime you lose a game of that magnitude, you only have a certain amount of window when you got chances to do things. And he knew the magnitude of that loss.
Right.
And that's just how he deals with it. I mean, he didn't go out and beat up no women and things like that. If that's where he's got to go to the hotel to detox himself, and let him do that. I mean, that's what he's got to do. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me a bit. And when you're older and you retired, what you have left is your memories. Of course, he still remembers that because it meant a lot to him that game because he gave everything he had on that field.
And I think it meant a lot to Bucs fans. With all that being said, you go back to last year, disappointing. You come close at the very end, you fall short. JPP was big in that game. He's not going to be in this game. You're going to have Joe Tryon, Shayenka. What's your nickname for him?
Oh, Joey Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Can he make an impact today like JPP?
Absolutely. He's just playing at 1,000,000 miles per hour. When he slows it down, he'll figure it out. I see what he's doing in this game. He's trying to get there so quick, and he's overplaying everything. The skills will come. Once he masters that technique, the speed will help him get there. He's trying to use all speed right now to get where he needs to be. He just worries on the technique, gets the bend, and gets the angles. He'll start getting those strip sacks.
Is that the worry with Tryon? Shayenka is the fact of, because he is such a young player, you can use that aggressiveness against him where you
Screens.
can. Right.
Screens.
Which is what they did last year in that Monday Night Football matchup. And going back to it, you feel like Tom Brady with the chip on his shoulder, never playing in LA with the top level he's playing at right now, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's an MVP right now. He's never played in LA. He's got something to prove. His family's going to be there.
Hometown, baby.
Right, hometown
baby.
cooking.
Welcome back.
He talked about his sister being there, and
yeah, he loves his family.
I'm just amazed that he's never had a game in LA. This feels like, to me, again, a shootout, but there's something extra to it because this could be a preview of the NFC Championship once again. 3rd time's a charm, by the way. Just saying. It could be a preview of where the Bucs could play at Super Bowl 56 because this is the site. So there seems like there is something extra. So going back to Cheaty's comments about not forgetting it, do you think that there are some Bucs players, namely a Tom Brady, that remember that and have that revenge factor where, you know what, we got to play better than we did last year in Monday Night Football. We got to show them something.
Absolutely. You got to remember Tom Brady openly admitted they didn't really have the playbook established in their brains and everything till the Chiefs game.
Right.
And that's where everything clicked after that. But you don't have that problem. You don't have that excuse this game. You relied a lot on younger receivers. People keep hollering about Tyler Johnson and these guys. Here it is. Opportunities calling.
It's knocking.
It's knocking. Opportunities calling. And for
Answer it.
Yep, Joe Tryon, these guys, it's calling. These are the games you look at when everybody hoots and hollers about why doesn't such and such play? Why doesn't this person play? Let's see what they do in today's game. And these answer your questions. Why they don't play. They don't show up today. This is why they don't play in key moments later on.
Right.
Because when duty's called, you weren't there.
Well, Cooper Kupp, amazing. I mean,
they're going to get their yards. There's just some things you're not going to stop. You're just not going to stop.
You play Carlton Davis versus him one-on-one. You're comfortable with that? No?
That's not the kind of receiver he wants to cover. Cooper Kupp is a very fast, agile receiver. I'll give it to Carlton Davis. He plays well. He knows his strengths. He likes to play a lot underneath and be really aggressive, but we all know he's not fleet of foot. He's not going to chase a guy that has a speed and catch them downfield. He got burnt by Valdez-Scandrick. You got beat, by Tyreek Hill. You got beat by a couple of fast receivers. Now, I'm not putting a knock on Carlton. You got to get to the quarterback to help him out so he's not forced to cover him 40 yards downfield because that's not his strength. But you still got to cover him. But that's not his strength. That's going step for step with dudes. His strength is playing leverage in his coverage, breaking down on balls and getting his hands on balls. But the play, just to say you're going to play Cooper Kupp man on Kupp, man one-on-one, I think that'd be setting yourself up for disaster. And Matt Stafford is really good at extending plays.
Well, he's a lot like Matt Ryan. You got to get him off his spot because he's not going to He's not going to out-mobile you. Although Ryan last week showed that he still has, some ability to be mobile.
Give me that 60 in Madden speed.
Right.
Give it to me.
Exactly.
Give it to me.
You have Robert Woods on the other side, of course. Von Jefferson, former Florida Gator.
Last time.
Deshaun Jackson, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
He wants to make a play.
I'm just saying, how concerned are you besides a Carlton Davis? Because we know he's good there with what you said about him covering a Cooper Kupp or a Robert Woods. Do you have other confidence issues with this secondary with, of course, a Jamel Dean? We know about his failed technique. Mike Edwards coming off a big game last week, 2 pick-sixes. Antoine Winfield a little bit quiet, and now Jordan Whitehead being back in that secondary. You feel confident going against this high-powered Rams offense.
Yeah, and I didn't want to make it sound like all doom and gloom, like Carlton can't cover. Your question was, can he cover a man up all game? No, that's that Carlton's thing to do that. Just play within the scheme, run your coverages, know your side adjustments, play your spot, trust in everybody what they're supposed to do on that play, and be where you're supposed to be. So big plays don't make a difference. Now, when Jared Goff was there, they like to run a lot of rub routes like the Chief, like Eric Bieniemy. Now enter Matt Stafford. I don't expect them to do a whole lot of that. I expect them to rely on Matt Stafford's mobility to extend plays, getting the ball to people. I expect them to get the ball out into the flats. Not sure what they're going to do in the running back position with the Rams this game. I really don't have too much insight on that. But if you're talking about as far as passing the ball, they're going to get those balls right at the hash marks to the sideline, force these linebackers to make some plays. And I did say last week, and I was right about Vita Vea, this game is going to be Levante David this week.
Yeah, and you see Levante David and Devin White. I still feel like Devin White has not played his best game of the year.
Coming.
They have not unleashed him yet. This could be a game.
He missed sacks. He missed tackles. He's missed his opportunities. They've been there.
This could be a game right here. Just saying, Devin White, Levante David, better linebacking core than that. I don't know. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391 live here at Ducky's. Getting you ready for Bucs versus the Rams. Both 2-0 teams. Somebody's going to go 3-0 today, and somebody is going to be 2-1. Yeah, I go with this right here. Exactly. On the other side, again, we're live at Ducky Sports Lounge. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Blake Anthony, Sports Talk 49, Blake and Blake Sports. Chris Godwin has really feasted on this Rams defense in the last couple games here. In fact, 19 receptions, 225, 3 touchdowns. Is he the guy today that sticks out? Because the matchup will be Jalen Ramsey versus a Mike Evans, and then whoever takes the other side, and I believe it's Darius Williams. Mm-hmm. You like the matchup, Godwin versus a Williams versus that secondary, which, look, they had better players last year. They lost some guys. So maybe the Bucs offense, especially with the Godwin, can take advantage of it.
Yeah, it all depends on what the Rams are going to try to do. I know you're going to run one-on-one with Jalen Ramsey. I expect this. Let me say this. I expect them to run one-on-one with Jalen Ramsey on Mike Evans, which they did previously. What I have to say, the bracket's going to have to go on Rob Gronkowski. I expect them to beat him up.
Wow.
Coming off the line of scrimmage. You're going to have to. He's killing teams
4
right now.
4 touchdowns. Are you surprised? I mean, he's playing better than last year, and he kind of foreshadowed this in the offseason when he was saying, look, Tom's not going to have to learn the new offense. I'm not going to have to learn the new offense. So now it's all going to come together. Yep. And this guy was talking about, people were saying, well, he looks washed up. He's just a blocking tight end. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's still got something in that team.
Who was that? I think it was Joshua Cole Allen. I think we were talking about
our buddy from Pewter Report now, JC Allen.
Yeah, yes. They were talking about Dominique Foxworth was the one that got on air, and I said that comes from a guy who's only has 4 career interceptions his entire career.
It's a guy that's probably beat by Gronk.
I was like, are you really the guy to call somebody washed up? Okay, well, I'm sure Dominique hasn't gone on and recanted his statement, but whatever it is.
They never do.
Rob Gronkowski doesn't have anything to prove, over 100 touchdowns, and is going for the all-time record now, so the work speaks for itself. But anyway, I expect them to, if I'm a defensive coordinator, and if that's really your game plan to put Ramsey one-on-one with Mike, you're going to have to bracket Gronk. I expect to see guys hitting them like the Saints did when they played. They beat up Gronk as soon as he comes off the line of scrimmage, put somebody fleet of foot that can cover him so you're not worried about it. Robert's going to have to make contested catches and then just run some coverage over by Chris Godwin. So to answer your question, Godwin's going to be the guy that's going to have the one-on-one coverage a lot, and he's going to have to make plays this time unless somebody else shows up. Unusual suspects, Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller, those guys are going to have to show up.
Possibly a Jalen Darden. I mean, he's going to get an opportunity today.
He might.
Jaden Mickens is not going to be in the game, so you're going to see him on special teams. Yeah. But do you think that they sneak him in there in some situations where they try to spread the Rams out and use that speed to go down the field?
Yeah, if you do that, that means you're going to leave Tom Brady naked in the backfield. It all depends.
Don't want to do that.
Yeah, so it all depends on what you want to do with the run of it. The key to the offense, we're talking about the Bucs offense. The key to this offense, I said it before and I'll say it again. You've got to do something with these running back situations. You can't keep relying on Tom Brady to bail you out with 5 touchdowns. There's going to be a time in one of these games where his arm is not going to be the one to win this game.
Yeah.
Them backs are going to have to do something, either catching the damn ball or running the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to have to. You can't. Well, this is not going to be like this every week. Scoring 5 passing. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you.
Let's talk about that running back situation. I know you're chopping at the bit.
Oh,
a lot of people.
Hate Ronald.
It just and I don't hate him either, but it frustrates me too. And BA talked about it this week. It's 3 years in this offense.
Yeah.
To me, I don't count the Dirk Cutter stuff.
You're right. Nobody should.
Nobody should, right? And Jason was like, well, wait a minute. You don't count that? They didn't teach him the playbook? No, they didn't coach him up on that playbook. With all that being said, we see the same type of mistakes. He's missing pass protection. He's not catching the ball consistently. He's putting the ball on the ground. BA said it this week, It's a guy who does a lot of great things, but you'll paraphrase it. He's not playing at the level he needs to play out because we know what it was only 20-something yards short of 1,000. And if you continue to play like this, you're going to see a Keyshawn Vaughn. You're going to see a Leonard Fournette. You're going to see a Giovanni Bernard. And you're going to see possibly a Ronald Jones, the victim of volume, a victim of a fumble, a victim of pass protection.
Yeah, a victim of everything.
On the bench.
Victim of the bench.
I mean, it's disappointing because we know what he can provide. We've seen it, and he was pointing it out this week to John Ledgert of the Pewter Report because he was calling him out on it. But it doesn't make sense with the guy that has a first down, and he runs 9 yards and out of bounds. What are you, a Rams wide receiver?
He's saving the clock, Peter.
Come on, man. Come on. I mean, are you surprised that Ronald Jones has kind of regressed, if you will, the last 2 games? And can he turn it around? I mean, L.A. home cooking. We talked about Brady. Is this the day that Ronald Jones turns it around?
My question is, that's why I send you guys all the Twitter stuff he says, is the stuff he says on social media is pretty stupid.
Is it affecting him? Is he letting the outside noise get to him to where he is trying so hard that he's losing technique?
Anymore.
Right.
That shouldn't matter. That's the part I get frustrated. You're not a rookie anymore. This shouldn't even
amazing to me.
This shouldn't even be in the conversation about, does this get to you? Does that get to you? Year one, yes, I could understand that getting to you because you played god awful year one, and in his defense, the coaching staff wasn't too good to help him out that year. That's why he looked really bad year one.
Right.
And they looked really great coming into year two. Got a little better year three. And the egress, I don't know what happened there. Maybe the competition and the level of the play of the other backs. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in practice. And clearly, there's been a digression.
Wow.
From last year to next year.
We got an update on the games. I'm looking back right now. It looks like the LA Chargers are about to move the Kansas City Chiefs to 1-2 as they're beating them 30-24. This Chargers team is real, even though, the Dallas debacle last week where they blew the lead. But they missed the extra point.
Oh, my God.
You missed the extra point here. Is that an extra point or is that a field goal? That's an extra point.
Yeah.
How do you miss an extra point, kickers? Wow. I don't know.
The Chiefs should have lost week one that they messed up punt that helped them out in that game. So they should have 2 losses on the belt, but they pulled it out and won that game. But,
story of today also, Pittsburgh losing big here to Cincinnati. Of course, the Cincinnati Bengal contingent there. You've got the Saints winning 28-13. Are you surprised by that game? I mean, Jameis Winston, kind of a meltdown versus Carolina. Carolina, really good team, 3-0 now.
We called this. I called this last year.
And then he goes up to the Patriots with Bill Belichick and doing a good job. Once again, this defense, surprising. Another turnover here. Mac Jones getting welcomed to the NFL so rudely. Welcome to the NFL, kid. And my thing is, look, this is the matchup next week with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football. If Mac Jones is playing this way versus the Saints, good is he going to play against this Buccaneer defense?
Absolutely. He got his head down. He looks in defeat. He's going to play a primetime game next week at home in Foxborough.
It's amazing to me. I can't figure out this Saints team. I can't figure them out.
The defense is fun. It's that offense.
You're missing Marshawn Lattimore. You have some big-time injuries here. Is that Lattimore the interceptor?
Yes.
Excuse me. Okay. Well, then you got him back, so that's a good thing. But, they lost a lot in the offseason. So you would think they're going to regress and take a step back, but Sean Payton just continues to win.
It's a good coach. And I think when I talked to my connects over there in New Orleans, the defensive coordinator is a guy I'm surprised hasn't got a shot at the head coaching job.
Dennis Allen. I mentioned that. I think he should be in the conversation.
The guy, my connects in New Orleans tell me that guy pays attention to every detail, hence why the Saints have always been good on defense for so long.
Yep. Saints are good. They're 2-1. You got the Carolina Panthers. They got a big-time injury with Christian McCaffrey. How much of an impact is it?
Shocker.
Ever since he got a contract extension.
Can't stay on the field.
And look at this. What's going on here with the Chargers game here?
Oh, he threw another pick.
Look at that. 24 seconds left. He looked like he just threw an interception. Let's look at the replay here. Boy, oh boy. Tyreek Hill looks like he's trying to position at that point. And the Chargers had a great opportunity to take the ball away, but it certainly looks like on that play, and you can go ahead and look at this again, that you could call offensive pass interference because Hill is trying to position himself over the defender. Why isn't that called by the ref?
I have no idea. It's an offensive player's game. Defense.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't imagine playing corner in the NFL these days because they are at a really disadvantage.
All right, let's go out to the comments here, and then we'll wrap it up. Y'all hating on my boy Lamar. We're not hating on him. We're just telling you the truth.
Said don't get hurt.
Right.
And you better win when you do that.
And you got a penalty here. It looks like it's a late hit out of bounds, which is stupid by the Chargers, which will be, looks like another 15 yards here. So we'll monitor that situation.
If they lose this game.
Well, they're trying to lose the game. If you're hitting a guy out of bounds, let the guy go out of bounds.
Let him stay in as long as you want.
It's holding, holding on the Chargers. So that's automatic first down. So you'll live with that.
Yeah, they'll decline that because he got more yards.
Okay. All right. So there you go. On a positive note, USF has a quarterback. Certainly looks like it. They played well against BYU. Can't say the same for FSU. I don't even know who they played.
Yeah, it's bad.
Horrible.
It's bad.
Bucs secondary is trash. Troy Polamalu, King Troy, Trojan legend. Not liking that Bucs secondary versus this high-powered offense here. As I'm looking in the corner of my eye, boy, oh boy, he missed Kelsey, but there was a defender right over the top trying to intercept the ball. Could have ended the game there.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about, we're getting
football's everywhere. Sorry, you get so distracted.
I love it
because we're looking
Bucs
at the
secondary is trash.
Yes, that was the comment. They started slow last year, and then they got hot. Without SMB, who was a key integral part playing the slot spot. We don't really have a guy to replace that because we haven't drafted. It's one of the hardest spots in the league, especially in this league, playing the slot, because your receiver can go any direction. But they'll piece it together. They'll figure out something with them safeties and put people down there. But the key part is just getting to the quarterback will take a lot of heat off of that.
Now, Justin Fields' era started out with a loss, nearly picked off again by the Chargers. This looks very familiar to the Bucs win in the Super Bowl here. Just throwing it up, trying to be a magician.
He's trying to get a flag. That's what he's trying to do.
Justin Fields loses today for the Chicago Bears against a Cleveland Brown team that has been somewhat questionable the last couple of weeks. Really put it together today, right?
Oh, yeah. The Cleveland Browns, you got the solid core. You play good defense, and you run the ball.
Myles Garrett there in the back. So got that. You're looking at this game right now. This could be the surprise of the day. Jacksonville was winning earlier. Looks like Arizona's going to win that game. We'll get you an update on that, but would have been a big win if Jacksonville could have pulled it off.
Yeah, it would have definitely helped the team morale because right now it's pretty in the toilets right now.
Yeah. Do you believe that? Do you think Urban Meyer could be out of there eventually?
It depends on what you do when it gets another full offseason next year. I don't believe
Nick Saban's situation. I mean, a guy comes in, he invests all this, money, and then basically because he's not used to losing, because he's won so much in college, he takes
to deal with it.
Nice, right?
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of people that don't know how to deal with that. And now you're talking about adults, contracts, money, college. You don't have to worry about that. Scholarships and just replacing them and recruiting. Yeah, it's a different aspect, but Urban's gonna have to figure out a way. He wanted this. He stepped into the big dog show. So I mean, he's gonna have to figure out a way to motivate these players.
Yeah, and when it's looking at Myles Garrett right now,
just field day,
just around the corner. I mean, the guy, he looks like a friggin' turnstile. I don't know. Is that Jason Peters? That's who you signed? Jason Peters? No chance today against Myles Garrett. Looking up here.
Not in the end
Hail
zone.
Mary. It is to the end zone. It is knocked down. 66-yard field goal by who?
The Ravens.
Justin Tucker
Ravens
beat the Lions with a
19-17.
66-yard kick. Jason Powers going crazy right now. He's a kicker. Come here real quick and get it with Blake Anthony here. You saw this kick. You guys go ahead and share that real quick. Jason Powers, 66-yard
off
field
the
goal.
crossbar, 66-yard field goal at the buzzer to beat Detroit.
And this guy right here is a kicker. How much did you love that?
Oh, my God.
Is that an NFL record?
Yes, new record.
66-yard kick by one of the most accurate kickers in NFL history. Justin Tucker, the Baltimore Ravens survive the Lions. And I tell you what, Lions don't have a win, but I'm very surprised Dan Campbell getting that team to play as hard as they can with the talent they're limited with, still playing hard.
Yeah, he can't keep a first-round draft pick corner on the field healthy. He did say they're going to be competitive, and that they are. They're not a doormat.
Biting elbows and biting knees.
Yeah,
and all
the knees
other
on the
stuff.
way up,
Yeah.
whatever crazy speech he said. Yeah, I thought it was kind of ill-advised. But
I think it was kind of like this right here.
Yeah. That's your first speech for the team. But that is true. They are fighting hard, and they're not a doormat. So we'll see what happens.
No, they're definitely not
Jared
a doormat.
Goff and the Lions.
17-14 Falcons over the Giants. So it's been a good day, a good week for the NFC South. It keeps the pressure on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Carolina right now 3-0.
I called it. They're going to be second in the division.
Well, it seems like it. So Bucs got to keep pace. It's a big game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win. What's one of your big-time keys for this team to beat the Rams today in L.A.?
Do something with them damn running backs in the backfield. You've got to do it. They're going to put pressure on Tom Brady. They know what beats Tom Brady is pressure. Those DBs, the last time they played, they baited Tom Brady to throw balls over the top, and the safeties were able to get to it. I think it was 3 interceptions that game the last time they played the Rams.
Correct.
Their safety was able to get over top and get to those balls, baiting Tom Brady to throw it to the receivers outside the numbers. So you got to do something with these backs, whether it's catching or running the ball. You need to take some pressure off Tom Brady, because if you think he's going to throw 5 touchdowns again this game, think again.
All right, there you go. Good stuff there. Let's go out to the comments. We read that Christopher Cole, Detroit will beat Baltimore. Not so fast, my friend.
You got to get a Lee Corso one.
60. No, I really do. I tell you right now, we're live on NSPN Live here from Ducky Sports Lounge. Justin Tucker, a 66-yard field goal. Check that man's leg.
Yeah, he's got something in there. He's got something in there.
Unbelievable.
He's got lead in it.
You got to love the National Football League. Well, thought they were going to. Well, there you go. That's okay. Harry Berg, 67-yard field goal for Baltimore to win. So is it 66 or 67? Jason Powers said 66. Well, we got to be accurate here. 66 or 67. That's amazing. Do you remember when Matt Bryant kicked the 62-yarder against the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, I love that game.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Whether it's 66 or 67, just unbelievable. With the kickers, of course. Matt Gay wins it last year for the Rams on Monday Night Football. It was a shocker. And then you have, of course, Ryan Suckup. So special teams, big-time factor in this game. I'm still looking forward to seeing Jalen Darden get some snaps. You don't think it's going to happen, though?
No, it's not going to happen. I know everybody wants all the young players to
What
play.
do we know about the actives and non-actives? Do we have that there?
They put it out. Like I said, everybody wants these young players to play. This is not the time yet for them to play. You don't want them to play in these big games right away. They're not ready for it yet.
We got about 12 minutes until the game starts, so we'll get you out of here. Let's go out to Troy Polamalu. King Troy, welcome to Tampa. Richard Sherman. Let's talk about that a little bit. A lot of reports this week. BA, Jason Light kind of checking in on a Richard Sherman, possibly also checking on what the NFL is going to do. Do you think that's one of the factors? They're waiting for the National Football League to rule on him, and once they do, then that's when that happens, because there was a development yesterday. Ali Marpet restructures, $4 million freed up. Should we assume that Richard Sherman is going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer in the next couple days?
Don't be surprised if it's a name you're not sure another name besides Richard Sherman that might be signed as well. But definitely keep your eyes out for Richard Sherman. And you said earlier the two guys that are out is Mickens and Jason Pierre-Paul. Hip and shoulder, and Henderson and Jay Harrison are out for the
All
Rams.
right, so Sonny Michel will get the start for the LA Rams. Of course, JPP out of this game. We'll see what Mr. Tryon does. And, of course, Antonio Brown. It could be Miller time. It could be Johnson and Johnson time, if you will, Tyler Johnson. And, of course, maybe a Jalen Darden making an impact. More likely Miller and Tyler Johnson at that point. And I'll tell you right now, I've heard this too. Tom is the one that's pushing for it. Tom was pushing for Antonio Brown last year. He got it. If he's pushing for Richard Sherman, more than likely he'll get it. What does Richard Sherman bring to that secondary besides leadership qualities? We know about the issues off the field. They're not great. You would think the NFL would suspend him possibly 4 to 6 games. If he's suspended 4 to 6 games, does it really matter at that point if you sign him? Because you need him now.
I mean, what are you suspending him for exactly?
There's some domestic stuff there and some possible. You've read the file on this. Some charges there.
There's
some stuff, some issues.
And the video doesn't really show anything about it but him beating on the door, and there's no crime against that,
right?
Both legally and in the NFL. So unless there's other stuff that happened behind the scenes, I don't know. He's part of the NFL Players Association. He wasn't disbanded from that, so I don't know. There's a lot that goes on that I don't know that's behind closed doors, but they could use Richard Sherman. His intelligence is the key thing.
Does he still have something left in the tank?
Of course he does, especially coming in a reserve role. Definitely that, where you're not relying on him every down, playing 100% of the snaps. Absolutely, come in there and play at any position. Come down there and match up issues when you got a bigger wide receiver or a tight end. He's done it.
I'm convinced it's going to happen. I'm convinced this is going to happen in the next couple of days. That's the reason why they freed up the $4 million. I can't think of any other reason unless they're possibly contemplating a trade for somebody else. Who knows?
Yep.
Just saying. I mean, you looked at the Patriots today.
Could be a sign and trade.
Maybe the Patriots deal Stephon Gilmore. Could that be a possibility? I mean, you have to pay him big time money. That's a lot of money. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, but you're going to have to give up picks, and I don't think the Bucs want to do that. And if you have a Richard Sherman's there, right?
Picks are key, and
I think it's Sherman's
team. For years, ever since they dedicated themselves to building within the draft, giving up draft picks. I just don't see that.
Let's go out to Harry the Greek here. I'll just say my professional handicapper, just saying. NFL record either way, had a doink at the crossbar, went way up in the air and fell through. Unbelievable. and you get a chance to see those type of unbelievable moments here live at Ducky's Sports Lounge, 1719 West Kennedy Boulevard. Come up here. We'll get you on the NSPN watch party. We'll let you meet yours truly if you want to. You can make fun of me if you like. It's okay. Everybody else does.
Buy him wings.
That's it. Buy me wings. Blake Anthony at Sports Talk 49. Blake and Blake Sports. Jason Powers, the power man himself. He'll talk to you. He loves talking about kicking because he used to be a former kicker for Florida State. True story. Matt Bryant, oh, please, Peter, don't bring back our miserable days. Well, look, at that point, the 62-yard field goal, when you see it, you're like, there's no way. No way.
I'll never forget. Donovan McNabb was drinking his drink on the sideline, relaxing.
Well, after he threw it up.
Yeah, and then he
Chunky soup, by the way.
Then he saw it fly through the field goal pole, and his face just dropped. Oh, it was classic.
Ronde Barber intercepted him that game also, didn't he?
Yeah, he's his daddy.
Yeah, he is. He is. Let's see here. Christopher Cole says, let's go Bucs, and let's go out to Troy Polamalu. Welcome Sherman by Bunting. This guy, not a big-time Sean Murphy Bunting fan at all. What's another key to this game for the Bucs to win?
I mean, he's got to limit the bleeding. I mean, you got to figure out where the Rams want to attack you at, and you just got to take it away from them. Not sure where that's going to be, if that's going to be Kupp or it's going to be Robert Woods this week. You just got to figure out what the angle the Rams are going to try to beat you at, and then you just got to counterpunch with that.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. All right, guys, so let's go out to the prediction. Your prediction for this Bucs-Rams. Did the Bucs pick up their third win in a row, which would be 11 straight from last year?
Ooh. They don't turn the ball over. I believe the score will be 27-23.
27-23. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win 38-35. It's always close. You have Tom Brady. You go back to last year. I think revenge is a factor. The way Brady is playing right now, everybody is focused on that Ram defense versus the Bucs offense, but really what they should focus on is that Bucs defense versus that Rams offense. I think they're going to have something to say about it, but I do think it favors Tom Brady and that offense. Look for Chris Godwin to be big in this game. Once again, 38-35. Let's go ahead and read this last comment from my professional handicapper. 31-30 right there. Harry the Greek has spoken, and that guy knows what the hell he's talking about. Yes, he does. He's pretty good. He's got lots of money, and I'll just say this.
Jesus, man.
Don't be surprised
if the man say he's got money on.
Oh, he's got all kinds of money. I need to get his tips.
What are you trying to say? He's like the guy from DuckTales where he dives in the pool of money.
Will you shut up and be quiet?
Shut up!
All right, for the great Blake Anthony at Sports Talk 49 and Blake Sports, for Jason Powers on Sports Podcast, I'm your host, Peter Blake. Enjoy the game.
What's up, everybody? Hope you guys had a great weekend. We certainly did. It was a great team win. Mike, 2 pick sixes. Defense played great. Got to keep the foot on the gas pedal. Headed out to California, going to play the Rams. Huge game for us next Sunday. We got this. Let's go. Got to get to 3-0. Here we go. Let's go.
All my brags turn to facts. All my hunters turn to racks. All my ladies turn to snacks. SUVs black on black on. SUVs black on black.
Brady able to throw, hit Evans again, got the first down, trying to spin for more, still on his feet, and he gets there. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West, a state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track hits your eardrum like a slug to your chest. Like a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex. We in that sunshine state where the bomb ass hit be. The state where you never find a dance floor empty and pimp speed. On a mission for them greens. Lean, mean, money making machines serving fiends. I've been in the game, the game, do it all. Get down and dirty. This is Honey's who's been like that soon. Now it's 95.
Under 4 to go. Brady has Godwin, who was wide open. And it's a touchdown.
Straight looking down for California, yeah. West Coast. That's right.
Dreaming. Soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing hoochie screaming, fiending for money and out